Today on Dr. Phil.
Little Caylee Anthony, the story that has a nation heartbroken.
This is a baby killer.
And horrified.
Shut up!
Now, our exclusive interview with a witness who says he was with Mother Caylee the day before she was first arrested. And inside the grandparents' home where police reportedly continued to gather evidence.
People are starting to send Christmas presents to Caylee.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Some say it's a hard life, but it's hard for us all. Always hold on.
In 10,
Always
9,
be strong. Reach out for
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
darkness. I need a hand to pull me through.
Stand by, camera 6.
I know.
Go, Dr. Phil. We're dealing with a very serious subject today because we're going behind the headlines of one of the biggest news stories of the year, the disappearance of 3-year-old Caylee Anthony. It's a show that we have delved into on this stage since it captured the nation's attention. Now, Caylee's been missing since June. I think it's 150-something days, almost 160 days now. And her mother, Casey, is in prison, as you know, charged with her murder. Caylee's grandparents, George and Cindy, have publicly maintained their belief that Caylee is still alive and that Casey is innocent. Now, with the discovery of a child's body near their home, we're going to try to answer some of the questions that have come up. Because I have to tell you, I keep getting letters from you, and thank you for writing. I want to know what you're thinking about, saying, Dr. Phil, we are so troubled by this. I mean, how can someone walk among us, stand next to us in line at the store, that is capable of doing harm to a child, whether it's Casey or it's someone else? If the body is Caylee's, does that mean that Casey is guilty? Does that help the prosecution? Does it help the defense? What took so long to find a body that was so close to the Anthony home?
911, what's your emergency? My granddaughter has been taken.
What happened to Caylee Anthony?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days. Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago? I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her.
Well, there are so many lies and inconsistencies in here.
Who has her? Do you have a name? Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
There is no call to any Zenaida Gonzalez. She might as well be Mary Poppins.
We gotta throw these lies out, okay? Tell us what happened to Caylee.
Dropped off Caylee, and that's the last time that I've seen her.
There was clear evidence a decomposing body was in the trunk of her mom's car.
It has been over 5 weeks since little Caylee Anthony vanished. Her mother, Casey, has been arrested for lying to police.
If a mother was concerned about their child, they would cooperate.
It's a very tragic situation. We need her cooperation.
Casey Anthony is out of jail. Casey's impending arrival caused some serious drama between the Anthony family and reporters.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
You're a joke. This is ridiculous what you're doing. Letting your daughter stay here with all this evidence?
I know everybody right now is just pulling your hair out saying it's obvious that she's lying, but is lying tantamount to being a murderer? As everyone knows by now, last week a meter reader in Orlando made the grim discovery of the remains of a child. Now, police say the hair, age, and measurements are a match for Caylee.
This is Orange County Utilities Emergency Dispatch. We found a human skull.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
What's the location, please?
And from the Caylee Anthony area, right by the...
Oh.
It's a discovery that has shocked the community. The remains of a small child found in the woods.
We're bringing you breaking news of possible body of a child found less than 4/10 of a mile from the Anthony home.
Today, a member of Casey Anthony's defense team said the remains have been tentatively identified as little Caylee's, though the remains have not been positively identified by authorities.
We had a gentleman who's apparently a county employee uncovered a human skull apparently from a small child.
The medical examiner's van carried the dead child's body past the Anthony street en route to the morgue.
This may be the state's biggest break in the case.
Well, we have all hoped and prayed, just hope against hope, that Caylee would be found alive. And while the body has not been officially identified, there's certainly a lot of signs that point to this is a tragic end to this story. Now, if the body turns out to be Caylee's, does that mean that her mother, Casey, killed her? I mean, certainly not. Lisa Bloom is a trial attorney and anchor of In Session's Open Court, who says that all of the evidence points to Casey being guilty. Mickey Sherman is a criminal defense attorney who says this is not an open and shut case. So, Lisa, let me start with you. From a legal standpoint here, what's the impact of finding this body? First off, that can move this from circumstantial evidence to now having a body.
Well, that's right. If this is Caylee, the noose around Casey's neck is tightening for a couple of reasons. One is that Casey has been caught on tape talking to her parents a couple of months ago saying, I know Caylee is close. I know she is nearby. Now the body is found a quarter of a mile away. Secondly, there's a search on the Anthony family computer, Dr. Phil, for neck breaking. The skull of this child that's been found is separate from the rest of the body. So those are two very important pieces of evidence now that are going to link her to this crime.
Well, are you saying that that suggests that there was a break in the neck, and when the soft tissue decomposed, then it was separated? You're not suggesting decapitation. You're suggesting that when the soft tissue was gone, then there was a separation.
We need a lot more forensic testing, but what I'm suggesting is what we know so far. We also know that there was a search on the home computer for chloroform. Chloroform was found in the trunk of Casey's car. There's testing going on right now as we speak on the remains. If there's chloroform in the remains, that's going to be another big boon to the prosecution.
All right, well, let's look at this tape you're talking about where she says she's close, nearby.
I just want her back. I know you do. But do you think after this long she'd still be local?
There's a possibility.
What's your gut telling you right now?
That she's okay.
And your gut tells you that she's close or she's hiding?
I know in my heart she's not far. I can feel it.
What do you make of that? Is she trying to, is part of her wanting to tell the truth?
I think so. How does she know that, Dr. Phil? She's a very strange individual. She tells a lot of lies, and some of the things she says are true. How does she know her daughter's close? At the time she's making that statement, her daughter has disappeared. Volunteers all over the community, all over the state are looking for her daughter. It turns out, if these remains are Caylee, her daughter was very, very close.
Okay. Well, Mickey, is this just a runaway train where everybody's getting ahead of themselves?
Well, we are so morally outraged by the apparent killing of a young girl that we just want to catch the bad person, no matter who it is. And I'm not saying it's a rush to judgment, but more likely than not, it's usually the parent, the spouse, the boyfriend, whatever. So that's why all the direction is going to her. And she hasn't helped her case much either by being inconsistent, by being flaky, and that character assassination of her doing the strip dance in the club, that is just so horrible that it just throws more stones on her. But there still needs to be some bridge between her flakiness, her erratic conversations with her folks. There's got to be a bridge between that and the actual murder. And so far, I don't see any physical evidence, unless the scientists come up with something, that really actually link her to it, other than, well, she probably did it.
Well, we know that she lies, and we know that she's been odd. But, I mean, all murderers may lie, but not all liars are murderers. And that's what you're saying, right?
Totally. All bad mothers, and she clearly is not the best mother in the world, okay? She's got the track record for that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's a murderer.
She takes a month. She takes a month before she tells anybody that her daughter's missing. That's very hard to understand unless she just didn't want her daughter to be found.
Wacky, flaky, there's no question about it. But there's a lot of strange people out there who don't necessarily amount to murders.
But it even gets worse than that, because she leads the police on false trails. When her mother does tell the police that the daughter's missing, she tells them that there's a babysitter who doesn't exist. She tells them there's an apartment that has no connection to anything. She tells them she works at Universal Studios, which is just not true. She leads the police in false directions, away from where they could have found the child.
There's shreds of truth in a lot of those things. The question is...
There's no truth to the babysitter.
Well, how do we know that?
Because she never materialized.
She says there's
Let me add somebody to this conversation. I want to talk to Michelle Bard, who is at our affiliate WKMG in Orlando, Florida, for an exclusive interview. Now, Michelle is the former spokesperson for Caylee Anthony's grandparents, George and Cindy. She says they are like family to her and still have hopes that Caylee is alive. Michelle, thanks for being here. You say that you were the spokesperson for them. What happened? Why are you no longer in that role?
I chose to step down on Sunday evening and let their legal counsel, their new attorney, Brad Conway, step into that role. You can't have two spokespersons trying to convey a message to the public when you have one family that's going through this turmoil. So I believe that it was to the best interest of the Anthonys and to Caylee Marie to allow Brad to step in. I'm still here. I have not left their side. I will not leave their side, and I'm actually working alongside Brad in order to make sure the message that the Anthonys want to convey is clearly stated and there's no fabrications in anything that we have to say regarding Caylee.
Okay, what is that message?
We believe that hope is still alive. Until somebody proves otherwise, we're going to continue to believe that Caylee Marie is still with us. We have every reason to believe that until somebody states that that was clearly the finding on Thursday. And right now, we do not have that. So we have to continue to hope and hope that someday we'll be able to bring her home safely.
So they still believe and hope that Caylee is alive?
That is correct, Dr. Phil.
All right. George and Cindy Anthony's former attorney, Mark Nejame, feels differently than Michelle. We'll get his opinion and find out why he quit working with the Anthonys when we come back.
I ate coleslaw today. Tell them I ate coleslaw.
Well, you probably eat a lot of things you never used to eat.
I hated bologna. I've been eating bologna and cheese on occasion. Grits. I don't do grits at all. It's terrible.
Casey, we have to find her before her 3rd birthday.
I know, we have a couple weeks.
I don't want to wait another minute. I think once she's found, then you can tell everybody what you know, and you'll be released, don't you think?
Potentially, I don't know.
Well, today we're talking about the discovery of the body believed to be Caylee Anthony and how that affects the case against her mother, Casey, who is charged with her murder. Now, trial attorney Lisa Bloom says there are 3 reasons why it is highly likely Casey is guilty. Mickey Sherman is a criminal defense attorney and the author of How Can You Defend Those People? He says Casey may have credibility issues, but that doesn't necessarily make her a killer. Now, Mark Nejame is the attorney who represented George and Cindy Anthony until he resigned in November. He joins us now via satellite from Orlando. Mark, good to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you, Dr. Phil. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Tell us why you resigned.
Well, a few weeks ago, I prepared a resignation letter and had my clients, I had it reviewed so that my clients approved it, and just basically said that it's a client's prerogative to follow or not follow the advice of their attorney. But if my advice was not going to basically be followed, then it was best for me to move on and allow them to follow the path that they thought was appropriate for themselves.
What advice did you give that they didn't follow?
Well, I won't get into the specifics of that, but you know, the preconditions of my agreeing to represent them were that there would be no restrictions on me towards assisting in finding Caylee, which was my ultimate goal, whether she was alive or not. And secondly, I would have nothing to do whatsoever with helping Casey in her defense. I had my opinions, but I was open to it. It was important for me that people shouldn't judge them if they wanted to hold on to hope or faith that Caylee was still with us. They had every right to do that, but I was not going to allow any restrictions to be placed on me.
So were you wanting to do something to find Caylee that you were not allowed to do without being specific about what it was?
No. What happened, though, is that it was pretty apparent that all roads were leading to Casey. And my letter basically said that out of the 6 billion people on this earth, the singular person who could give us answers as to what had happened to this little girl was Casey. And I believe that's where the road would take us. And so at some point with it coming out that there was a belief that Caylee was not involved publicly, then I could not support that.
You think she was involved?
I think it's inescapable she was involved in some way, shape, or form.
How do you feel about the fact that the body was found so close to the grandparents' home?
Well, it's a tragedy for those of us who've been front and center of this thing. This situation has gripped America and much of the world. For those of us who have worked so hard on the inside, it's all the more hard. And the fact of the matter, though, is that sadly, who else could it be?
Well, Michelle Bart is with us, who was a former spokesperson for George and Cindy. Michelle, you disagree with a lot of Mark's conclusions about that it points to Caylee and that there's not much way, there's not certainly a better alternative than her.
My position is that Mark and I agree to disagree. I love Mark. I think he's great. But we do have two opinions and two theories on what has happened. And my job isn't to judge the circumstances leading to the disappearance of Caylee. My job is to help bring Caylee home through visibility, whether it be PR efforts or marketing efforts or the website. And I've been staying to that objective.
Well, do you have a theory as to what happened? If it's not Caylee, do you have a theory?
I have theories that have come to mind since there's been eyewitness accounts that I find very credible, including the one from Florida Mall, where I took very cautious maneuvers in order to release a photo on November 19th of a sighting from November 16th. And in my heart, nobody has come forward to claim that child when that photo has been seen nationally since November 19th.
Let's take a look at, we have a photo that was taken with a cell phone camera by an eyewitness who claims to have seen Caylee Anthony in a mall in mid-November. Can we look at this picture here? Is this the picture that you're referring to, and is she in the brown?
That would be correct.
Okay. Mark, what do you say about that? What are the Anthonys? What was their reaction when they saw this?
What I've got to say is I think Michelle articulated some of this very well, and that is, to me, this is not about I told you so. This is just, we've lost sight of the fact that we've got a missing child. This little girl is presumably no longer with us, and the fact is there's no joy of being right or wrong. You know, I've maintained all along that the Anthonys, like any other family who's endured a loss, has every right to grieve and to process and to deal with this loss as they need to. And people need to let people do what they need to do to get through these types of loss. I mean, imagine you've got a daughter accused of murder, and the murder is of your beloved grandchild. So if somebody needs to process and deal with that in the way they need to, then that's their business.
Sure.
And that's been the position I've taken all along.
All right, when we come back, I have an exclusive interview with a witness who says he was with Caylee just days before she was first arrested. He says he asked Caylee where Caylee was. We'll find out what she said next.
Are you protecting Caylee? Are you protecting me? Are you protecting whom?
I'm protecting our family, yes. Not from anything that I've done.
Someone threatening us?
Mom, just leave it at that, please.
She wanted to give something to Caylee. She wanted to give her something special, and that's when she went and got her bear.
I think I got it from when I was a baby. I only saw her on TV for videos. And they showed her with the book, and she was turning the pages and all that, and the pictures of her all dressed up. I've never seen her in person. I pray for Caylee.
Well, today we're going behind the headlines surrounding the disappearance of Caylee Anthony and possible discovery of her body near her grandparents' home. Now, I've been talking with attorneys Lisa Bloom, Mickey Sherman, and Mark Nejame, as well as Michelle Bart, the former spokesperson for George and Cindy Anthony. Mark, if I can ask you, during the time that you were representing George and Cindy, Did you ever sit down and question, interrogate, or discuss this situation with Casey?
I made it a point intentionally not to meet with Casey. Like I said before, I would refuse to do anything concerning supporting her or assisting her with her defense. I didn't think it was my role. My role was to help assist in finding Caylee and to help the grandparents through the process.
But if you were wanting to, and I know you were, because you and I have talked about this before, but in that your goal was to do everything you could to find Caylee, and you believe that Casey is clearly involved in the situation, wouldn't you want to question her in hopes of finding some clue, some evidence, or a confession, something about where Caylee might be?
I can't get into the specifics, of course, but please remember that she had counsel, and one lawyer is not allowed to just go talk to somebody without the permission of the other counsel.
Did you ever ask for permission to do that?
I can't get into the specifics, but I think you'll realize that, of course, she's not made any statements since she's had counsel.
Okay, so they've got a gag on her, not letting her talk.
You'll draw your own conclusions. I can't comment.
Okay, Michelle, let me ask you, how long have you known Casey?
I've known about this case since the first week that it aired on another network.
No, my question was, how long have you known Casey Anthony?
I have only spoken to her via telephone about 3 months ago.
Okay, so, well, the reason I was asking is because you said these are like family to you and you still support them, but you've never sat down and asked Casey any questions about this at all.
Again, Dr. Phil, I don't believe it's my position to ask Casey anything at this point. My job is to have a voice for Caylee Marie, and if that means following up on every tip and lead that may lead to her safe return, that's what I'm going to do, or vice versa, work with Brad at this point, depending on the outcome of Thursday's finding.
Gotcha. Lisa?
Yeah, isn't it strange, this kind of technical disconnect? The mother of the child, the one last seen with her, the one who says she took her to a babysitter who doesn't exist, that she wouldn't be questioned if we're trying to find out where Caylee is?
Well, she is a lawyer, don't forget. She's the object, target, and now the defendant in a major criminal case charged with murder. Her lawyer is going to tell her, don't talk to anybody. Unfortunately, that ship sailed a long time ago with all those interviews.
But doesn't that just tend to indicate her guilt? If she's clamming up, her daughter has disappeared, the entire community is looking for her, and she's not indicating where her daughter might be?
Remember the runaway bride? The woman took off, when God knows where.
This is a 2-year-old
Everyone
child.
thought she was dead, and we all thought that her husband, or fiancé rather, killed her. Turned out nothing.
Okay,
This is a
but you
2-year-old
understand
child.
that an adult has resources to disappear that a child doesn't have. Correct. They got the ability to do it. Now, Danny is the owner of Cast Iron Tattoo in Orlando. He says Casey was a regular at his shop and that she came shortly before Caylee was reported missing. Danny, where are you? Okay, so what did she say to you? This was a day or two before she was arrested the first time.
Yes, it was a day before that the phone call from her grandmother was made of her being missing. She seemed as normal as can be any other time that she was in. You know, as a father of 4, I asked, where was your daughter?
And you asked how Caylee was doing?
Yeah.
And what'd she say?
She said, you know, as clear as could be, she was with the nanny, and she was making an appointment for the following Saturday and would bring her in with her.
So this would have been, the child would have been missing like 3 weeks or more at the time she was there with you?
Correct.
And why, she was driving a different car than you had seen before?
Yes.
Did you ask her why or where her car was?
She actually started talking to me about it, saying that it was a friend of hers' car she had borrowed. She had to pick up some friends from the airport that were flying in from Puerto Rico on a trip she was supposed to have gone on. And her car couldn't fit all the luggage.
There was no room in the trunk of her car?
Yes.
And Dr. Phil, you know why that's big? Because there's evidence in the trunk linking her to the baby chloroform in the trunk, the baby's hair, indicating decomposition in the trunk.
I mean, it just doesn't look good. Police have been searching the Anthony home looking for evidence. When we come back, we're going to take you inside the house.
This is Caylee's room. This is very hard to come in now. People are starting to send Christmas presents to us already for Caylee.
Her tea party table remains empty. Dr. Phil, I'm in front of the Anthony home, and I'm going to show you just how close this crime scene is, so let's start walking. We're maybe 12 or 13 homes down, and we're just about to the crime scene. I can actually see the new satellite trucks from here. I'm at the halfway point. We're now at 3.5 minutes. It's incredible to think that these remains might have been missed by searchers. Here's the crime tape. We made it here in 7 minutes. The actual remains are 100 yards away.
Well, that was Jessica D'Onofrio, a reporter from our affiliate WKMG in Orlando, who has been covering the search for Caylee since the story first broke. Now, she joins us now via satellite. Attorneys Mickey Sherman and Lisa Bloom are here with me as well. We actually have a map that shows how close the body was found to the Anthony home. So that's just down the street. Mm-hmm. That is just down the street.
And you know what else? Casey Anthony had to walk by that area when she went to school every day as a child and grew up in that home. So that's an area that she would know very, very well.
Okay, Jessica, what's the general consensus about where this body was found? I mean, it's so close to the Anthony home, it just defies logic.
It's amazing, Dr. Phil. It's only 3/10 of a mile away from the home. You can walk there, as you saw, in 7 minutes. You can drive there in 2 minutes. You walk down to the end of their street, you take a right, and it's only 100 yards away. There's actually a home on the corner there, and then there's a fence line, and the child's remains were found right behind that fence line. And we're only talking about 15 feet off the side of the road, very close to Suburban Drive.
But was this area not searched prior to finding the body?
Well, from the beginning of this investigation, cadaver dogs went to the Anthony home. Initially, that was the day after Casey was arrested. They were all over that neighborhood, and they had dry enough stretches of time to be able to search that area and possibly find a body. I mean, this is just so close, Dr. Phil.
Because, Mickey, I'm told that this area was searched 5 different times, and I'm sure the defense is going to say that suggests that the body has been moved there since she was in jail.
Absolutely. This is a fact that's actually helpful to the defense. And even if you take for a fact that it may have been underwater, most experts will say that cadaver dogs are trained to find bodies underwater. So this would seem to suggest, in fact, the body was moved there while she was incarcerated.
So that means there's either an accomplice or she is not involved.
Exactly.
All right, shortly before Thanksgiving, George and Cindy Anthony gave Jessica an exclusive tour of their home.
When Casey got out of jail the first time, the Anthonys told me that's when they felt suddenly trapped, prisoners in their own home.
Casey didn't want to come in here at first. It was hard because this was where, this is where her and Caylee spent most of their time. We got an air mattress, and she wanted to stay in our room.
Cindy says Casey had a hard time being alone in her own bedroom, which is covered with pictures of Caylee, from those first ultrasounds to her birth and beyond, the two of them together.
Yeah, this is Caylee's room. This is very hard to come in now, and people are starting to send Christmas presents to us already for Caylee.
Her tea party table remains empty, and her favorite pets, Tilly and Tinker, run into her room still looking for Caylee. George talked about his granddaughter in their backyard. It was once a spot where cadaver dogs alerted to the smell of a corpse.
Think about the days she'd go in her little cottage, and she'd ring the little doorbell and ding dong.
I still have 3 bags of birthday presents in my closet. So, yeah, I'll probably buy Christmas presents for her too.
Well, Jessica, that's very interesting. You've probably spent more time around grandmother Cindy during this ordeal than anyone. What's her state of mind, in your opinion?
I think these folks are devastated right now. I mean, this find on Thursday, investigators do believe that these are the remains of little Caylee Anthony. And, the grandparents haven't spoken to the media since that find. They've been speaking through spokespeople, and that is very unusual for the Anthony family. They typically do come out and speak, and we haven't heard from them in days. So you can only imagine that this is a very difficult time for them.
Well, I understand that the sex of the remains found has been confirmed to be female.
The sheriff's attorney said, yes, it is female. Now we have the same sex, age, and size as Caylee.
Okay. I mean, are they just in denial about this, or is it just a matter of hoping against hope that it's not her? Jessica.
Well, Dr. Phil, they don't believe they're in denial. That's one of the questions that I asked them when I was inside their home. They point to the case of Elizabeth Smart. They say Ed Smart held out hope for so long that his daughter would be found, and lo and behold, she was found.
Sure.
So they'll always point to that and say they're absolutely not in denial, that they believe that Caylee is still out there and still alive.
All right, coming up next, a forensic expert who is a consultant for the defense.
Hey, gorgeous, how you doing?
I look like hell.
You really need to keep your spirit high for all this.
I haven't been crying while I've been in here.
Well,
I've been
you know
trying
something?
to read books and do other things to keep my mind off of stuff.
I live right next door. We share the same fence. My daughters have played with Caylee. I've talked to her. When I heard the news that they had found a child's remains, first thought in my head was, we don't know it's her. I'm not gonna pass judgment until I know it is her. If it's Caylee, I think we're all gonna be devastated.
Caylee Anthony was reported missing about 160 days ago. A child's body found near her grandparents' home has been tentatively identified as Caylee, and I say tentatively. Police say the hair, age, and measurements match the missing toddler. But does that mean that Casey is involved? Now, I want to bring Dr. Lawrence Kobylinski into the mix. He is a forensics expert and is a consultant to Casey Anthony's defense team. What does all of this mean?
Well, obviously, this case is not going to be decided because of lying or credibility. This is a physical evidence case. And the state has the burden. They have to look at all the evidence, biological, physical evidence, and determine if they can associate Casey to that evidence. Is there a linkage or not?
Everybody's wondering why it takes so long because they watch CSI and it happens during a commercial break.
Well,
but it really, particularly if there's no soft tissue, it takes much longer, right?
It's not that easy. CSI is great entertainment, but the reality is the FBI laboratory is probably working morning, noon, and night to get the DNA analysis done. It's done through the extraction of DNA from bone. It does take time. It's labor intensive, probably a week, at least a week. There should be some results back.
Mark, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Dr. Phil. Jessica had made a statement about the the area being dry. I just wanted to pass on that I've spent a lot of time talking with Tim Miller, who is the head of Texas EquiSearch, who was the primary person leading the searches out there. And his position is that this area was submerged underwater during the time of the searches, and he called the search teams out of there for fear that...
But Tim Miller didn't get involved for a month after.
And he's saying that
Tim Miller got involved a month after this investigation began. That's when Tropical Storm Faye came through Central Florida around August 20th. But in between that time, before August 20th, Casey was arrested on July 16th. Investigators had from July 16th until around August 20th to search areas of dry land around that area.
But the point is that there's a discrepancy as about 5 search teams going out and where they were. From when the massive search efforts went out there with the 2,000 or 3,000 people, that wasn't until after the area was supposedly, according to Tim Miller, submerged in water. So important.
Okay, Dr. Kobylinski, what are they looking at right now? What are they after?
Well, they're clearly looking at the skeletal remains for identification purposes, but they're also looking at the plastic bag. There's evidence on the bag, in the bag, trace evidence. And there's duct tape, and those are 2 media that could be matched if there was an exemplar. There was a plastic bag, a black plastic garbage bag that was in the vehicle. And so I'm sure that the search of the Anthony home was an attempt to find matching plastic bags and duct tape. So the question is have they found that, and what will the results be?
Okay, now, obviously, if they find a fingerprint on the bag or on the duct tape or epithelial cells or something that could tie back to Casey or whoever, I guess since it's so close to the grandparents' home, I'm sure they would have to exclude them. They would look at Caylee. Is it possible that that could survive if it had been underwater?
Yes, I think a fingerprint on adhesive tape would certainly survive. The plastic bag is certainly exposed to the environment, wet. If it was submerged, it was submerged. Let me also add that whether it was submerged or not and how long will alter the decomposition. And an examination of the skeleton could be very significant as to whether the plastic bag was submerged for a lengthy period of time or a short period of time.
Just real quickly, do we know what else was found in the bag?
We are hearing indications that the body had been covered with something else. There was some speculation about clothing. We don't have anything firm on that at this point.
And the defense team has not been allowed to inspect the findings in any way?
That's true. I think the reason is that the judge ruled that the body has not yet been identified, and therefore there's a certain privacy that one would expect. Once the body's identified, there's no doubt the defense team will have an opportunity to go in and look at all the evidence.
All right, good. I got to take a break, and then we'll talk. When we come back, I'll talk to a body language expert who says that she can tell that Caylee has been lying from the beginning.
All I'm trying to do is find Caylee for both of us, for all of us. And I'll do whatever it takes.
I feel the exact same way. I don't care what I have to do. When I told them I would lie, I would steal, I would do whatever by any means to get her back. That's exactly how I feel. It's the truth.
We've been talking today about how the possible discovery of Caylee Anthony's body might affect the case against her mother, Casey, who is charged with her murder. Now, Dr. Lillian Glass is an expert in body language and says that when she watches Casey's jailhouse conversations, she sees a lot of deception. Now, in the tape we just saw, she's saying she'll do anything to try to find this child, but she's shaking her head no.
Exactly.
And that bothers, I mean, that's a clear contradiction, right?
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the piece.
Does Charlotte sound like a potential place to look?
You can look in Charlotte. I know Zanny's had roots in North Carolina. I know that she's
definitely Miami.
Definitely Miami. And New York.
Okay, she keeps shaking her head no while she's saying Charlotte and New York. What do you make of that?
That's right. Well, the body doesn't lie because we can tell a lot about a person through the leakage of what comes out. And so what's happened is the truth basically leaked out, that it's not Miami and it's not New York when she shakes her head no and says yes.
And, you know, and that is really true. I mean, 90% of all communication is nonverbal in terms of syntax and the different cues that you're looking at. Tell me what you see in this clip of Cindy asking Casey about the babysitter she claims to have left Caylee with. She refers to her as Zany.
Do you think Zanny's acting by herself, or does she have help?
I don't know, Mom. I haven't been able to talk to anybody. I don't know.
Okay, what do you see there?
Okay, well, first of all, she does a very subtle movement with her shoulder. It's kind of shrugging it off. That's an indication of deception. She looks down. She stops for a moment. I don't know, Mom. And she seems very defensive. And it's not only that you can tell a lot about deception, but you can tell a lot about the relationship that she has with her mother, with her father. So many things you can tell.
You think she's lying?
I don't think. I know.
Because there is a science to this. All right, just real quickly, we've got 30 seconds here. You say the prosecution is making a big mistake by not allowing the defense to be there while they're testing this evidence.
The defense is not asking to test the materials. They're saying, just let us have our experts there, Dr. Kobolinsky, Henry Lee, Michael Biden, whomever they bring. Let them at least see the methodology that the state of Florida is using so that they can confirm that it was a reliable, credible source. And they're silly not to do that because at trial, they should be able to point to the jury and say, and these folks were there when we tested this. So it has integrity.
Now, legally, they don't have standing to be there because until this is identified as Caylee, Caylee's defense team has no right to be there.
But the truth is, they could be there. We'll be right back. We've all hoped for the safe return of Caylee Anthony, and while it has not been confirmed, unfortunately it appears that she was in fact murdered. Whether or not it was in fact Caylee, a young child appears to have been murdered, and whoever is responsible needs to be brought to justice. I want to thank all of my guests for being here today. Mark Nejame, Jessica D'Onofrio, Michelle Bart. Michelle, you wanted to say something. You got 5 seconds.
I just want to keep in mind that this week, Adam Walsh came home after 27 years, and like John said, keep hope alive, and we'll be able to bring them all home.
Lisa Bloom, thank you. Mickey, thank you. How Could You Defend These People is the name of this book. You should read it. It's very interesting. And thanks so much. Dr. Lawrence Kobylensky. For more information about today's show, drphil.com. Thanks for being here. So long. We're backstage right now, just before the show, and I want you to take a look at the pictures of these two young women, both as cute as can be. Stephanie was an aspiring songwriter and loved taking care of kids. Diana says she was a preschool teacher with a bright future. Neither one of these women know one another, but they do share the same secret. And there are a lot of young girls out there just like them. If you think you are the best parent, giving your child everything, an education, teaching them right from wrong, you need to watch this show because, believe it or not, this could happen to your daughter. Let's get started. Today on a compelling Dr. Phil.
I hate the person that I am.
What happened to these beautiful young women? They had everything going for them.
I'm so miserable. Killing herself.
Shot up in the neck at the airport, smuggled cocaine onto the airplane.
Tony told me it was okay.
I did not tell you it was okay, Diane.
You still don't get it. Now they get a chance to take their lives back. Are you willing to go to rehab directly from here?
Please, Diana. I love you so much.
There's nowhere for you to go but to the cemetery. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
10 seconds to air.
I know things are tough out there, but we can do this. Here we go. I want you to get excited about your life.
4,
and ready,
3.
Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Thank you very much. Well, today we are talking about wasted youth. One day they're fresh-faced and eager to take on the world, and in the blink of an eye, they look around and their shattered 20s are gone, and they say, "What have I done?" That's what happened to my guest today. If you haven't guessed already, we are talking about drugs. Now, if you're somebody that plays with drugs, you do drugs recreationally, or you have a child that's experimenting with drugs because that's just what kids do. Everybody does it. Please, please sit down with me for the next hour. Now, first, we're going to deal with Stephanie. Moms trusted her and their kids adored her. But last year, she had a secret she had been hiding from everyone and revealed it to me. Stephanie's a drug addict. Here's what happened when she was on the show.
Why don't you go upstairs for a little bit, and then I'll come get you, I promise. 5 minutes.
I'm this girl with high hopes and dreams. If you see me, you would never know I was a drug user, but I'm a junkie.
hate drugs. I have been high babysitting, but I would always make sure the kids were sleeping.
But one time she invited her crazy boyfriend over.
Hurting everybody, disappointing everybody time and again, and I can't stop.
So what have you done today?
Today I shot boxing.
You came to see me about your drug addiction, and you brought drug paraphernalia with you so you could shoot up before the show.
My daughter has been making bad choices since the age of 12. I tried to get her to stop using, but there's really nothing I could do.
It's Saturday night, that's not a shot. That's a shot. A little more, a little more.
Kim, are you kidding me? She's smoking crack, she's shooting up heroin, and you're pouring her drinks at a party? Have you ever done drugs with her?
We have sort of one line together.
You're doing illegal drugs with her.
It wasn't my choice, but I did it.
I'm sorry, somebody grabbed the back of your head and shoved it down on the table and said, snort this coke with your daughter?
I'm living a life that I'm not supposed to be living.
For the first time in my life, I am scared. Scared.
This is Rich Whitman. He is from La Hacienda, a serious drug rehabilitation program. He is here to take you with him. Well, we sent Stephanie to La Hacienda in Texas to get clean and sober. She did. She decided to leave the clinic 6 months ago on her own. She says she discovered she wasn't ready for the real world yet. She relapsed. Not once, not twice, 6 times. Now look, this is tough stuff, people. I mean, when we bring people back here for follow-ups, I don't just bring back the happy, good time stories. We bring them back real, whatever is going on. Now, Stephanie contacted our guest, Joni, a couple of weeks ago looking for her help yet again.
I've been struggling being home. I really still desperately want to be clean and sober. Unfortunately, I relapsed today. Where can I meet you? Which is by the park, right? I only need one, all right? I desperately want my life back, and it's not as easy as I hoped it would be. I wish I could be a functioning drug addict and everything would be fine.
So tell me, are you feeling better?
Yeah, I feel better. I feel fine. It blows my mind that I would do this after all the rehab I'd been through, and now I come home and bam, the first thing I do is get high. That makes sense. I'm having a midlife crisis at the age of 24. I want so badly to succeed, and I believed I'm made to be a songwriter. I won't hold it down, feeling like you want it. Oh, that's cute. I'm made to do something big. I'm just here. I'm stuck here at 24 years old, still feeling like I'm 17. I don't want to be a drug addict anymore.
I wish that was an isolated tale, but it's not. Now, no one understands addicts better than my former guest, Joni. Now, you may remember her from our primetime special 4 years ago. She was feisty. She fought me about going to rehab like you wouldn't believe, because that's what addicts do. They get mad at me.
I can't get through half an hour without a drug. I shoot up in the car, bathroom stalls, the garden center, at work. I'm addicted to buprenorphine, it's an opiate, Adderall, which is methamphetamine, Klonopin is Valium or Ativan. When you're a nurse, like me, I know what the doctors want to hear.
Nursing, Mrs. Joni.
Last night, you called my producer and wanted her to go get you syringes. You are highly manipulative, and you think you are really, really smart. True?
Man, I know how to get away with it. To do prescription drugs, you gotta learn how to beat the system.
You're very proud of the fact that you do that. You rotate 3 doctors, you give them all these stories.
No.
You have a very good system.
No. This is what I do to do it. Am I proud of it? No.
You need to go to La Hacienda. You know why you need to go to La Hacienda?
Why?
Because you don't want to go.
When Dr. Phil said you're going to rehab today, it was very shocking. So I came out kicking and screaming. My life is so much better now that I'm sober. Meetings are where I find motivation. I go to 2 meetings a day.
It feels good to give back. The 12th step is to help other people. I spent months with Sarah. I've witnessed everything. I've seen her shoot heroin.
When you do that one shot, it's just like magic.
What the you want from me?
She was a fellow alcoholic who needed help, and her brother asked me.
Joni is documenting all the drinking bad behaviors that I'm going through.
Are you okay, Joey? I first met Lisa this past spring at a rehab.
I'm very blessed that Joni came into my life.
Come on in, how are you?
I don't know what I would do without her.
Well, Stephanie is back with Joni and her grandmother Juanita after relapsing again. Now, Joni, you got a call again, right?
I did get a call.
And they know about you from when you were here.
Yes.
We did a primetime special with you, and you showed up as belligerent and arrogant and pissed off as anybody, right?
I was very angry, very entitled, very sick, and was not prepared to go to rehab that day. I was not even prepared to meet you. I had never seen your show, and was caught quite off guard.
Yeah, you booked an interview with me on a primetime special about drug addiction, and you had never seen me?
I'd never seen you, but after I sat down for 5 minutes, I thought, oh my God, I should have watched his show a few times.
You're clean and sober at this point, and over the last few years, you've been really responding to people like you that have needed help. True?
True.
Now, this is your grandmother.
Yes.
You said when you were sitting down that this was the first time you had seen any of this.
Yes.
What do you think about what you just saw?
It horrifies me. I knew that it was going on, but I've never seen it. And just to see my granddaughter do that to herself is just horrifying and overwhelming as a grandmother.
What was most shocking to you about what you saw?
That she would actually take this and shoot it into her little veins, killing herself, because that's what ultimately it leads to. And that's why I'm here. I'm so fearful that she is going to lose her precious life.
Is she right to be afraid?
Yes. It makes me feel so badly, you know, knowing how much I hurt her and the rest of my family with my disease of addiction. To have gotten the help that I did and still go back out and use drugs is beyond me, but that's just how powerful it is.
When we come back, we're going to find out why Juanita threw Stephanie out of the house. And Stephanie reveals why she thinks she deserves a second chance, and am I all ears to hear that?
People who have never been drug addicts or alcoholics don't understand what I'm going through.
I just thought she was doing so much better. I had no idea she was craving drugs.
"24-year-old Stephanie says she had everything going for her. She was a great nanny, really sought after by everybody in the neighborhood. She was an aspiring singer. She was a songwriter. She had plenty of friends. It was all going well. But all of that went down the drain when she was introduced to crack and heroin. Now, I sent Stephanie to La Hacienda last March, and there are a lot of drug rehab programs in the country, and there are a lot of really good ones. There are some that I think aren't good, but there are some that are top-notch. In my opinion, La Hacienda is the best of the best. She went there, she got the help, she left rehab and found out she wasn't ready for life without drugs. Look, this isn't a 28-day miracle. Sometimes this is a long, hard road. She relapsed. Her grandmother, Juanita, says she has tried to help her, but can't understand what it's like to be an addict. Take a look at one of their confrontations.
People who are not addicts, people who have never been drug addicts or alcoholics don't understand what I'm going through.
If you came to me and told me that you were having cravings for this drug,
Of course I crave heroin.
I didn't know that.
I just thought she was doing so much better. I had no idea she was craving drugs.
I don't understand.
As upset
I don't
as you,
understand that.
it just makes me upset. You don't understand. There's no way for you to understand.
Okay, let's you and I get right to it, okay?
Yes.
Because one of the things that I hate about rehab is the rehab speak. It's like the chatty Cathy. You go through and you get certain buzzwords and crutch phrases and you use those. There's a difference between somebody that really gets it and somebody that just mouths the language, the symbol system. And the truth is, you are just arrogant enough to have believed that you were the one that was smart enough, strong enough to get out and do this on your own, right?
You're absolutely right.
I mean, what are you trying to escape from? Why is it something that you decided on your own, after going through everything you went through, having the chance that you had, why did you justify doing it, even if you thought you could?
I feel like it's fear. I'm afraid of life. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of success. I see how far I've sunk into this addiction, and sometimes I actually believe that that's the only life that I can be comfortable, because I'm so miserable sometimes without drugs. I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin.
Isn't what you've said is that you don't really want to quit drugs, you want to be a functioning addict? Isn't that what you said?
I just wish there were a way that I could be happy. Yeah, if there were a way to use drugs and be connected to God at the same time, it would be at every drug addict's dream, but it's just not reality.
Why'd you kick her out?
Why did I kick her out? What a question. I love this girl with all my heart. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for her. But I told her when she came back, I said, I don't want you here. I can't stand the drugs. I can't stand the drinking. I can't stand staying up all night and worrying about whether you're dead or alive. Someone kill you, find you in a ditch somewhere. And then I found she was doing the heroin again. And I have another granddaughter living with me also. And I told her, I said, you can't do drugs and live here. I said, I can't put myself through that misery. I said, neither can I put your sister at risk. I said, people get killed dealing in drugs. And I said, I'm not having that in my house.
Well, Stephanie says she wants out of this drug-crazy life. But does she really? I mean, does she really, or is this just another cycle through Guilt Valley? We'll talk about that when we come back.
The last thing I want to do is upset you worse than I have in the past.
Well, then don't be talking to Devin.
He and I are not like that anymore. We're friends.
I know what I go through, just worrying about you being over there near him.
So what if I even see Devin? That's irrelevant. I'm 24 years old. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I've been a friend of the family for over 12 years. And it's not gonna end now.
Well,
And there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't want that little bastard around here.
I know.
And I don't want him calling on this damn phone
And
either.
he hasn't been.
And, oh, yes, he has. Now he's trying private caller. Does he think I'm so stupid that I don't know what private caller means?
Bottom line is,
He's
I'm an
old.
adult. I'm an adult. Yes, I live with you, but I'm gonna live my life the way I want.
Well, that was Stephanie and her grandmother, Juanita. Juanita says that she's just fed up with all of Stephanie's addict behavior, including Stephanie sneaking to her ex-boyfriend's house. Now, I assume that was drugs talking.
I was very heated at the moment.
Rich Whitman is here. He's joining us on stage. He is from La Hacienda. What are you hearing in all this, Rich?
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I don't believe what you say. I just look at what you do. And what I see you doing is disrespecting this woman that has opened her home to you and getting up on your hind legs and barking at her about your rights and your privileges and that you're an adult. If you're an adult, then act like an adult, okay? You don't have the right to disrespect this woman. You are a sucky taker. You are a taker, taker, taker. You take, and you don't give anything back except a bunch of talk, and talk is cheap. You cannot be a functioning addict. You cannot do this. You cannot use drugs. There's no way. There's no such thing which you say, I wish I could be a functioning drug addict. Sorry, can't happen, won't happen, is not going to happen. You had your chance and you blew it. Why should you get another chance?
I see where I've gone wrong, and I know that it's, you know, like you said, it's not an easy 28-day, you know, sometimes it takes time.
Look, I am not naive about this. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I understand drug addiction is a complex disease. It is resistant to treatment. It is subject to relapse. It is a difficult thing. What I'm concerned about is that you still don't get it. When you're telling me 24 hours before you come on this stage, you want to be a functioning addict, you don't get it. Rich, what do you think?
Do you really want it? To go to any length? Quit once and for all. Once and for all.
Yes, I really want it.
I hear no from you one time, it'll be out the door. I love you, girl.
Love you too.
But you're really going to have to do it the way that we ask you to do it.
You can't play around with this stuff. That's what I'm wanting every parent at home that's watching this right now. This crap about all the kids are doing it, it's just what happens, it's just what kids do, is wrong, wrong, wrong. It is a death trap, and it can ruin their lives, and it can end their lives. And you know that. All right, coming up, they were the perfect family. Beautiful house in the suburbs, well-educated, hardworking, devoted to raising their children. But one of their daughters had a terrible secret that was tearing their family apart too. I'm going to talk about why they're here. I'm not sure how this is going to go. We'll be right back.
When I was little, I couldn't even have imagined being a drug addict.
I tried to help my sister without getting my parents involved.
I view my sister as being what I want to be. And I'm just the sister, the one in the family who's just failed, who just is a junkie.
Today we're talking to women who say they feel like they've wasted away their youth because of drugs. Now, Diana is 27 years old and says she was a former preschool teacher who had everything until her boyfriend broke up with her and left her heartbroken. So she turned to cocaine, heroin, crack, booze, just to name a few. The drugs have really taken a toll on Diana. She says that her nose has collapsed from years of snorting cocaine, and her voice always sounds raspy.
Before I started using, my life was good. I graduated high school, I went on to college, I was a preschool teacher for the YMCA, and I loved that.
I think things started getting bad for Diana when she stopped teaching preschool and she wanted to make more money.
I started dancing when I was 23. At the time I was working at a restaurant. When I first started dancing, I was all about the money. I dabbled here and there with drugs, once in a while with cocaine.
She told me that she had been dabbling in Oxycontins and Percocets.
Then it progressed to hanging out late nights, needing more drugs to get up the next day and do it all over again. I was surrounding myself with nothing but addicts.
So I noticed my daughter's looks had changed. Her weight was down. It just didn't look like the Diana that I knew.
I tried to help my sister without getting my parents involved. Then with the whole needle thing, I just didn't know what to do anymore.
When I was shooting cocaine, my drug addiction probably would cost me anywhere from $300 to $500 a day. Now with heroin, it's a lot cheaper. An average day would be like $100, $90.
My sister has gone to the point of pawning family heirlooms.
When I was little, I couldn't even have imagined being a drug addict. I feel like I've accomplished nothing. I've wasted my youth and opportunities for a better life. So even though I hate the drugs too, my obsession with the drugs is more powerful than I am. I view my sister as being what I want to be.
The most painful thing I can say about Diana's addiction is that I never imagined our life being like this.
And I'm just the sister, the one in the family who's just failed, who just is a junkie.
Well, her father says he had no idea his beautiful daughter was a full-blown drug addict until about 2 months ago. Now, Diana's sister, Anita, called Joni because she saw her on our show and thought maybe she could help with this situation. Now, Joni gathered Diana's family for an intervention. Take a look at what happened then.
Dear Diana, my love and affection for you has never changed. These are not easy times for us. Our love and affection for you is being tested. I want you to know, deep in your heart, that we are here for you.
The last 2 years have been hard. Seeing with my own eyes what this addiction is doing to you, and seeing how frail and ill you've become, it just breaks my heart.
You're my sister and you've always been my best friend. I've watched you slowly deteriorate and I can't take it anymore. It's eating me alive inside. I feel this huge empty void in my life. I feel so much sadness and pain and frustration and worry. I can never replace you. Ever, ever, ever.
Thank you for this.
Well, Jamie, Diana's father, spent thousands of dollars on a 28-day rehab program for Diana. A week after she was released, she relapsed. Nice word, for she started shooting up again. She called Joni for help again.
Okay, this is Diana's home. I'm so happy she's awake. Doesn't look broke.
I got out of rehab, everything was going good. I just got really depressed again. I just got that itch to use. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do it just this once.
And show me what you bought. How much did you buy it for?
So this was $300.
How long will that last you?
Probably 5 hours.
Is it just cocaine?
Well, I started dabbling a little bit with dope again, heroin. Since my boyfriend kicked me out, I got my car stolen, $600, and my cell phone, all in 3 days of relapsing. I know it's like sick, but it's like every single time that I strap my arm up for some reason, I think like, what if your father saw you now? You're disgusting. I want to be a certain person so bad, and I know I can be, but I just feel like the drugs won.
Well, Joni says Diana has been the worst addict that she has ever dealt with. And let me tell you, that's saying a lot. Because you got to remember, Joni brought us the heroin twins that we dealt with. I mean, she's just been through it all. She says dealing with a severe cocaine addict is like dealing with a wild animal. And that's why Diana's father, Jamie, and her sister, Anita, are here. Diana's mother could not be with us today. Now, tell me why you're here.
You know, thought it was normal. I was just living the, I guess, average life for a teenager and for a young adult, partying recreationally, having a good time. But something along the lines, I just lost myself and veered off path. And
are you out of control now?
I'm out of control. I'm out of control.
By the way, are you high right now?
No, I'm not. Not today, no.
You haven't used today?
Not at all. I don't have any drugs. I had nothing. Jenny knows that.
She drank a bottle of wine for breakfast.
Yeah, I drank a little bit. I drank some Chardonnay this morning just because I was so nervous and my nerves were bad. And I thought, you know, this is it. And,
so you had a bottle of wine for breakfast?
I didn't finish the whole bottle. I just had like 2 glasses.
You don't consider yourself high or inebriated or anything as you sit here now?
No, I'm not.
Dad, you said you didn't know about this till like 2 months ago. How could you not?
I haven't seen her for 6 months. And every time she would drop by the house, she would be, to me, appear to be normal. So I was just one of those things. I just didn't know, you know, I wasn't following her.
Okay,
or...
do you get it now?
Oh, yes.
Do you get that her life's in danger?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you get that she's OD'd 4 times in the last 3 years?
Absolutely.
Did you hear what I just said? She OD'd 4 times.
Yes.
And each of those times, the chances are at least even that she wouldn't wake up, that she would be dead, and you would be here talking about your deceased daughter.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got to know that you get that.
Yes, we do.
And you get that, because you didn't just know about this 2 months ago.
Yes, I feel a lot of guilt for it.
And you hid it from your parents.
Yes, I did.
So you were complicit in her destroying her life, and you feel guilty about that.
Very.
But that was then, this is now. Do you get it now? I mean, I got to know that we understand each other.
Yes.
Do you really, really want to stop?
Yes, I do. I hate the person that I am. I really do. I hate living. I don't know. I feel like I've sold myself to drugs. I feel like I'm nothing. I don't know how to do it.
Okay, well, let me go over some things with you, and I want you guys to know the gravity of what we're talking about here. These are some notes that Joni gave us. Number one, she said it was the worst addict that she had ever dealt with. It's like Diana is possessed. She said that Diana told her that she plans to deflect and blame her addiction on her parents, saying it's all their fault, and that she shot up in the neck at the airport on the way to L.A.
Joni told me it was okay.
She smuggled cocaine onto the airplane. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. It was a very, very frightening transport. It was the worst travel day that I've had with a patient, and I do interventions about 1 a week and transport a lot of patients.
Okay, so you shot up in the neck at the airport, right?
Yes, I did. It was my last supply, and
Well, no, it wasn't. Let's talk about the day before the show. At 6 p.m., you cashed a check for $130 and asked the cab driver where to buy cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
You bought $130 in powder cocaine and snorted it. At 9:20, you took 2 Suboxone and nearly drank an entire bottle of wine.
I didn't take 2 Suboxones. I only had half.
And at 2:30 in the morning, you asked Joni for Tylenol PM, and you told her that you were afraid I was going to be hard on you.
I asked her if you were hard on me. I was just being honest, saying I was nervous about the show. I was just asking her about her experiences here.
Then the day of the show, which is today, you were picked up by a man at 2:30 in the morning to go buy cocaine. He took you to an apartment, but you didn't go in because you thought it was shady, but you did score 3 hits of crack. It's today.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you a few minutes ago if you were high now.
This was at it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. Crack only lasts for like
It's
a
not
second.
noon. It's not noon yet.
That's why I'm sick. That's why I'm sick. I can't stand being in my own skin. I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, I'm going to talk about that when we come back. Diana is going to tell us where she got $200,000 and where it is now.
I've gotten a lot of money from my customers. From the one customer that I was intimate with, I got about $200,000 throughout the 2 years of dealing with him. And with my other client, I asked him at least for $400 every 2 days. So if you put that in a year, it's a lot of money.
Well, that was 27-year-old Diana. She says for the past 3 years, she's been hiding her drug addiction from her family. Her father, Jamie, says he just discovered his daughter was an addict about 2 months ago. Her sister, Anita, says she feels a lot of guilt and shame because she says she was in denial. She never thought it was as bad as it was. You don't want them to not know at this point, do you? You want them to know.
I've came totally honest with everything I've talked to my father about, men I've slept with, prostitution, by using drugs. That was the hardest thing for me, was to be honest with my father and say I shot drugs. My father's always had very high expectations for me. And I've never wanted to be this honest with my father about relationships, about dancing, about anything. But I've come to the point now where I've been totally honest about everything. Because what else is there for me to hide?
Dr. Phil, we feel that this is so serious that if she doesn't get help, I don't think I'm going to see her live past 30. That's how we do understand how serious this is. We really do.
Like I said before, I didn't know. It is shocking.
Well, that
to be honest.
concerns me because you've got to be astoundingly good at denial to not know that this girl is a serious addict until the last 2 months.
They just didn't look like she was an addict.
Okay. Can I have a picture of her now and a picture of her before all of this started? There's a clue.
I think is astounding denial, and it's his protection. And his wife, Inga, though, was very clear that there had been a problem for quite a while. And she was the truth sayer, who kept saying that and felt that nobody was listening to her in the home, that Diana had a problem.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back and say, what do you do in this situation? We'll be right back. Diana is a drug addict who says she has wasted her life away on a $300 a day drug habit. Now, her family says that they didn't see it early enough. They were in denial. So it's just been a matter of this thing building and building. Are you serious about getting help?
Yes.
Because I am convinced, having had the history that you've had, and the use that you've had and the behavior that you've had, there's nowhere for you to go but to the cemetery. This is going to get worse to the point that you're going to kill yourself, right? You have to decide, I'm either going to die or I'm going to live. Those are your two choices. And if you're going to live, then you're going to have to get treatment. You can't even almost do this on your own. You're in way, way over your head. The audience here and at home has already met Rich Whitman, who's here from La Hacienda Rehabilitation Centers in Texas. And I have asked Rich to study this case, to look at everything involved, and I have asked him to open the doors at La Hacienda for you to go there and reclaim your life. And my question for you is, are you willing to do that?
Yes.
And when I say do it, I'm saying you go from this chair on this stage to rehab. You don't go home, you don't pass go, you don't do anything else. You go there directly from here.
Please, Diana. Please.
You're not coming home there, please.
You gotta go, Dee. Please.
I can't go tomorrow.
No,
I had a legal
Diana.
issue I had to take care of. I wanted to transport Snow, my dog, back to the house. I need to talk to the lawyer and have Joni write a letter.
So you don't have to do this from memory. Let me help you out. In Joni's notes, she shared with us all the rehab excuses that you discussed with her before you got here. She says that you asked Joni to help you with lies to convince me that you can't go straight to rehab.
I said, can you talk to him with me and tell him the reasons I need to go home?
She says that she plans to lie to Dr. Phil, says she has to go home to get clothes, wants to say goodbye to her dog.
Those aren't lies, though. I never said lies,
That
Joni.
a friend wired $250 that you need to pick that up. She says that she's forged a check for an ex-boyfriend. If you don't get it back to him, he's going to press charges.
Yeah, he is.
Well, actually, we talked to him and he's not. So you don't need to worry about that. Really, we talked to him and you don't need to worry about that. You've got loving family here that will see after your dog. Either go from here or you don't go.
Diana, this is a chance of a lifetime. Please. I love you so much, and I need you in my life. Look at me. Please, Diana.
There is no need to go back home, dear. You need help. Your mother is so worried. I'm worrying about her now. Okay, you go. Go with them.
Please.
And thank you, Dr. Phil, for offering you that.
You will.
Okay, I just want to be clear. You are willing to go from this chair with this man and his staff to La Hacienda?
Yes. I mean, I really wanted to go home first.
No.
No, hold on. Don't help me. Don't help me yet. You're going to have plenty of chance to help me. But I want it clear before you leave here, you are leaving here on a flight with Rich to transport to La Hacienda.
Yes.
We'll be right back. You've heard some things today that are shocking in terms of the extent to which people will go to service their drug habit. That's what I want you to know. And let me tell you, the earlier you intervene, the better off you are, because it just gets worse, not better. So parents, if you got a kid that's just smoking a little weed or whatever, you need to deal with it right now, because it doesn't get better, it gets worse. And once you have achieved sobriety, Joni, you deal with it every day, true?
I do deal with it.
You still have to fight and make your choices every day.
I work an active program.
Yeah. And you've actually been 2 years now, right?
I have 2 years this month.
And Rich, you wanted to give that to Joni?
365 days in a year, right? Putting 2 of them back to back is a pretty big deal. But sometimes just putting a day together is a pretty big deal. It's been a journey. Boy, has it been a journey.
Has it been a journey?
But you know what? God's using you. Congratulations.
Well, Joni, to see you going from shooting up in my green room
Yeah, I did that, yeah.
to 2 years of being clean and sober just means everything in the world. It gives hope to everybody out there. And boy, oh boy, are you paying it forward. And God bless you for that. And Rich, God bless you in La Hacienda. I want to thank Joni for all of her help with these 2 young women, Diana, Stephanie, Juanita, Jamie, Anita. Thank you all for sharing your story with us. We're going to get some traction on this. It's going to get darker before the light, trust me. I'll promise you, she is so mad backstage right now, so trying to crawfish, oh, I'll guarantee you she is tearing me up one side and down the other. But I got a thick skin, and that's okay, as long as she gets where she needs to go at La Hacienda. For more information about today's show, you can log on to drphil.com. We'll have links there to La Hacienda, actually. You can find out more about that excellent program. Thank all of you for being here. So long. Today on Dr. Phil, what's most important when looking for a mate? Is it love? Is it money?
I've been a gold digger all my life.
What if you miss a really nice guy?
Most of them are interested in sex.
You're saying that that's all men are interested in, but yet you dress in a way that just says sex, sex, sex.
Plus, the limo driver she rejected. What he's really worth.
$76 million. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
10 seconds to air.
I know things are tough out there, but we can do this. Here we go. I want you to get excited about your life.
4.
Get ready, C. Let's do it. Today, we're tackling 2 of the most searched topics on our drphil.com website, love and money. Now, in relationships, is one more important than the other? For these 2 single women in their 20s, money rules everything around them. Meet Beige and Michelle. They say they use their sex appeal to get what they want from men. Cars, cash, jewelry, trips to Paris. We're not just talking about dinner here. They are proud to call themselves gold diggers, self-proclaimed gold diggers. First, let's meet Beige, who calls men her personal ATM machine.
I'm Beige, and I'm a 24-year-old self-proclaimed gold digger. Men want women for sex, and women want men for money. Dating is not on my mind. My goal is all about Benjamin. The right type of man would be a man who has the funds and the mentality to spoil me. I can't be bought. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for intimacy. I'm just focused on getting as much as I can out of life, both materialistically and in other ways. Sex is the last thing on my mind.
Well, at least she's honest, at least partially. Sex may be the last thing on her mind, but apparently money isn't. But yet she says she can't be bought? Her friend Michelle is also a gold digger and says Beige taught her everything she knows about getting money from men.
I have fun gold digging. It's like a game. I make my own money, but if men are willing to give me their money for free, I'll take it. Beige taught me everything about getting money from men, shopping sprees, getting my bills paid. I believe I have the ability to turn the switch off on the whole gold digging thing. Beige doesn't. This is her life. She's never gonna stop. She doesn't want to have any relationship with any of the men that she gets the money from. If they only knew how she talks about them. Ew, I just had to go out to eat with him. He's so ugly and disgusting. And I'm like, then why are you even around him? She's like, cuz he pays my bills.
Well, Beige says her goal is all about the Benjamin. She even has what she calls a gold digging kit that she says every woman should have, and she never leaves home without it.
This, my dear, is the gold digging kit. Lip gloss. This is a diamond tester. I use it for gifts instead of going all the way to the jewelry store to see if it's real. I use my diamond tester. The last thing is a counterfeit detector pen, because I wasn't fortunate enough to have received some fake bills a couple years ago. It'll never happen again.
Well, Beige allowed our cameras to follow her as she went on the prowl, I assume with her diamond tester and her counterfeit pen. She was on the prowl for wealthy men.
My goal for tonight is to get a dress, a camera, or a BlackBerry. I mean that I'm gonna find a man to buy those items for me. The key to attracting men is to dress, show off. Okay, maybe not that much, but show off a little something, something form-fitting, you know? Usually I step in the club by myself because it's easier to get noticed when I'm not with a group of people. Men like women who don't pay much attention to them. So one strategy I have is I usually go straight to the bar and buy my own drink. Most of the time, somebody comes up just in time so I don't have to pay for it.
I went to Club Dream and I'm a bit disappointed. It was packed with people, but not the type of people I'm after. I'm more into quality than quantity. My plan is to go to Provocateur. I heard the crowd there is a little bit more my speed.
She's so hot, man. So I want to take her to my home right now.
I work in the restaurant. He was a waiter. Nothing wrong with waiters, but how is he gonna support me? It probably won't work.
Okay, so I am fascinated by this. I'm fascinated, A, that you do it, and B, that it's just okay.
Well, for the most part, I think it's okay because most of the time men approach me. And I feel like the main reason why they're approaching me is for sex.
Well, if I see a dog on the street, I approach it, but I don't mean I need to get bit.
True,
I mean, I just want to pet the dog. I don't need
I'm not biting them. Most of the time, they offer and I accept it.
You're biting their wallet.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And you are in training, right?
Right. And I agree. I mean, I agree with her because most of the men that she gets, they have money to burn. Like, it's nothing to them. So it's not really biting their wallet.
Why should they give it to you?
Why do they give it to me? I guess because they're expecting something else in return.
You think?
Yeah. They don't really get it. Well, they don't get it at all.
So you don't have sex with any of these guys?
No.
How do you decide what you're after? Because you've said you'll decide you want a iPod or a car, or how do you decide what you're after?
Well, a couple years ago, I came up with something that I call a wish list, and I write down everything that I want from short term to long term. And every time I meet someone, it's my goal to have them take something, well, get something off that list for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a list?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't have a list.
Oh, well, that's right. You're just a trainee. So, you haven't perfected a list. Like, what's the biggest thing on your list?
Ooh, my house, which I already got.
Somebody bought you a house.
They gave me the money, and I bought the house.
Do you have a job?
Yeah.
That is your job.
Well, that's something I do on the side. That's just a hobby. My main goal is to make my own money, which I run my own company. It's a talent agency. Been running that for 3 years, and also model and act as well.
So you'll meet a guy, or some guy will come up to you, and you know, come on, you're advertising, right? You go out there, you dress provocatively, you go to target-rich environments, you get in places where you'll draw attention from men that have money.
I dress how most women would dress when they go out on a night out in town, yes.
Well, it's pretty provocative.
Yeah, and we've been
form-fitted.
Dressed
I
regular.
am comfortable with my body.
Okay,
yeah.
well, we'll call it form-fitted.
Okay, form-fitted.
Okay. So you get form-fitted,
Right.
and you go into a target-rich environment, and you're thinking, okay, I want to go to Paris. So you're looking around for somebody that will take you to Paris.
Well, wherever I go, men are going to approach me, whether it's in a rich environment or a poor environment. I rather attract the richer men. Is there something wrong with that?
You tell me. Apparently you don't think so either. Because you say you could quit this, but she couldn't. That she's a dyed-in-the-wool gold digger and will be forever.
Right. And
What do you mean by that?
Like, she doesn't ever want to settle down with anybody. Or
Do you ever look at her and think that's really crass?
I do. I think it's just not normal. It's not human. Like, I think everybody eventually wants to settle down with somebody and get married. I mean, females, like, that's what we want. We want to have a wedding and
She
all
doesn't
this
seem
kind
like a very good student.
But
Because she's kind of throwing you under the bus.
No, she has her own goals, and she's kind of right. Right now, my main priority is not marriage or settling down. It's about my career.
You said, and let me give you a few quotes that you said, because I want to be sure I understand these right. You said that you use every guy you meet just for their money.
Pretty much. Every guy who approaches me to try to have sex with me, try to get on that personal sexual level, yes.
You say men use women for sex, so why not use men for money?
Right.
Well, that doesn't make it right. Do you think it's wrong that men just approach women for sex, in your opinion?
Yes.
Well, wouldn't it then be wrong in your tit-for-tat world that you use them for money?
I'm just getting them before they get me.
You refer to men as targets and victims.
Pretty much.
like that.
I don't make men the way they are. I just capitalize off their weakness.
Right.
So how do you spot a rich guy?
Well, there's no one specific technique. Some people look like they have a lot of money and they really don't. But most of the guys who really have money are low key.
So, have you scanned the audience?
No, I haven't had the time to.
You haven't had the time?
No, I've been focused on Dr. Phil.
You've been focused on me?
Yes.
I'm not sure it's because... I think she's kind of focused on me like you would focus on a rattlesnake. If somebody threw one on the floor, you would watch it real close because you wonder what I'm going to ask next.
Right.
But I couldn't possibly ask either one of you anything that's more incriminating than what you've already said about yourselves.
I hear you.
So I use men for money, I'm a gold digger, I make no apologies for it, and they owe it to me.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I'm a very hard worker. I've been working.
Well, that's the way you look at it, because that's what you said.
Yes,
Those are your
because I've been
words.
working since I was 15. I've put myself through college, worked 2 jobs. I've been on my own since I was 17. And I started in the modeling and entertainment industry when I was about 18 by myself. And I got tired of men approaching me just like that. Okay, I want to get in your magazine. Yes, you can be in my magazine, but you're going to have to sleep with me. You're going to have to go to dinner with me. It can be business, but pleasure also. I got tired of that, and I guess that was a defense mechanism.
Okay, but now, just to be clear, you and I only met now, right?
Right.
So you're not on the show because we've made a deal.
Right.
Okay. All right. Kinda like... Should Beige stop seeing men as her personal ATM machine? Log on to drphil.com right now and take our online poll. What's most important when looking for a mate? Is it love? Is it sex? Is it money? Later, you'll find out the results of our poll. Next, with the help of an NFL superstar, I'm going to teach these gold diggers a lesson they'll never forget.
All this stuff was purchased by men. Gucci purchased in LA, $300. Gucci again, $500. Prada shades, Versace shades, Dolce & Gabbana again. This one was from Paris. This is my bestest watch in the whole wide world. Yeah, all these are gifts from men.
Well, Beige and Michelle are 2 self-proclaimed gold diggers. I mean, that's not my label, that's theirs. They go after actors, musicians, music producers, and athletes. They say they can spot a man with money a mile away. But should you judge a book by its cover? This morning, I hear one of our limo drivers tried to ask these ladies out. Not too much interested. Let's see what happens.
What is this show about?
Gold diggers.
Rich people are sexy. They got that swag. When you have money, you got that swag. You're sexy.
Guys who really have it, they don't have to be on Front Street. They don't have to overdo it. They don't have to prove anything to anybody.
You guys going out tonight?
Yes, sir.
Going out with anybody?
By ourselves.
By ourselves.
I usually don't go to the club with guys because that kind of defeats the purpose.
So what would be the benefit of you going out with us? Like, do you know owners of clubs and stuff so we can just walk in and we don't have to...
I know a few people, but I don't,
And I think you want to be like the bodyguard.
Like that?
Okay, now you had a waiter come up to you earlier, right?
Yes.
And you weren't much interested in waiters, limo drivers. Right. What if you miss a really nice guy?
Well, I guess I never know what I missed, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, really. Because you should grow up like me, being bald-headed since I was 12. I mean, every cute girl in the world was like, not so much.
The amount of guys who come up to me, am I going to take time out of my day to weed through all of them?
Well, but
that's a lot of time. That's a lot of energy.
So you might kiss a few frogs, but I mean, what if one of them was like your prince?
After you go through like 99.
Well, the limo driver that Michelle snubbed, he isn't really a limo driver. He's actually made NFL history when he signed the biggest contract for a defensive player in history, $76 million. Please welcome the man behind those glasses, Super Bowl champion with the Indianapolis Colts, Dwight Freeney. Michelle, how you doing? We'll put you down here. Okay, so you didn't get much of a second look, right?
Not much, but, I understand the circumstances a little bit different.
Tell the truth.
I couldn't really tell. I looked back, she said that she'll go out. So, I mean, I was
I told him
appreciative
I'd give
of
him a
that.
chance. Dinner was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't, you know, overly aggressive, nothing saying that she had to be. But.
And you said that he could be your bodyguard.
I said that. I told him, actually, I told him.
Well, you got a good,
only because
he could
I don't-
certainly be your bodyguard, no question about
Only
that.
because he's a guy going out with two. I mean, this is my first time in LA. I wanted to go out, just me and her, like have fun, go out, not have any guys tag along.
Actually, I told him that I had contacts at the club and I'd actually get him in.
Yeah,
So,
get me in the club or something like that.
Would get you in.
Yeah, but I guess in the beginning it was kind of like, well, can you get us in the club? What can you do?
Right. I said that.
I didn't know.
I said, what can
Come
you
on,
do?
I know
I don't want
better.
to stand in line.
So, let's see. The contract we all read about was $76 million. That's for knocking a lot of people down regularly. Okay, and boy, do you do that well. What do you think? You really worry about this gold digging, right?
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a concern, and it kind of changes your lifestyle and how you go about things. You know, as a guy, you know, you want to go out there and find somebody who's genuine, somebody that's really, you know, likes you for you. And that becomes difficult, and it really slows down the process. And a lot of probably good women, you know, don't even get the opportunity because we're so turned off from it.
Do you worry? Are they interested in you or your money?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, man. You don't know. I mean, you know, all your stuff is public knowledge, and you know they can just go on Google, type your name in, bam, it pops up right there.
interested in me or just sex?
I'm sorry?
Same thing. Are they interested in me or just sex? And most of them are interested in sex or sex first and foremost.
Do you agree with that?
Not really. I mean, I'm sure there are guys. I mean, let's say there are guys who are just worried about that. But, you know, there's a lot of guys who are not, you know, who go out there and just want to meet the person and have their relationship develop.
What's the majority?
But you don't know. I mean, there's a big majority. You know, there's all types of guys everywhere.
Do you think that when you go out, you dress sexually?
Yeah, sometimes.
Because you're saying that that's all men are interested in, but yet you dress in a way that just says sex.
Yeah, sometimes I get the same approach, or men still come at me when I'm in flip-flops and sweats.
Everybody makes a statement. You know, when you go out, the way you dress makes a statement. I mean, some guy comes in and, you know, he's got on a floppy hat and saggy and untied tennis shoes and stuff. You know, he's kind of, that's actually my son I'm thinking about, George. But, I mean, they make that. But when you're dressed this way, then that says something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
What's that statement? What statement does that make?
That I'm sexy, I'm confident in myself.
Okay, so you're going out saying, my statement is I'm sexy, and I'm going to criticize you for responding to that stimulus.
Because even when I don't dress like that, they still come at me.
Well, you seem to have a chip on your shoulder about the fact that men and women have sexual tension between them.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just tired of women getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of women, I've heard a lot of stories, and I'm just sick of it.
So you say all you're interested in is money. So if you met Dwight, even if you knew who he was and all of that, and went to a game, watched him play, then went out, you would still just be focused on what you could get out of him?
I never really take it past, like, going to a game and getting to know somebody.
How do you get men to give you these things then? If all men want is sex and you don't give it, then why are they doing it?
Don't tell them up front that they're not going to get it. So, of course, they're going to try to impress you.
So this is bait and switch.
I guess now it is. Now it is.
Okay, well, this is going to be a lot harder game to run because you got millions of people watching you right now saying...
I'll be fine.
All right, we're going to take a break. Next, a woman who says the only people that have a problem with gold diggers are the women who can't be gold diggers. We'll be right back. All right, today, gold diggers reveal their secrets for attracting wealthy men. But some women don't agree with this strategy at all. Lauren Lake is married to an NFL coach and sees women trying to get money out of the players all the time, and she says it is despicable. Dwight Freeney of the Indianapolis Colts has to decipher between a real woman and a gold digger. Lucia is the host of Art and Love on LA talk radio station KFI AM and says there's nothing wrong with what Beige and Michelle are doing. Why do you say that?
Well, Dr. Phil, you know, as a relationship expert, I have to look at things pragmatically and objectively. And when people hear the word gold digger, there's an automatic negative knee-jerk reaction.
Well, yeah.
Right, okay. But if you
Look it up in the dictionary.
Absolutely. But, you know, I think it goes back to biology. Men are programmed, especially men of money, power, and status. They want the best-looking women that their money can buy. So they want 9s and 10s. Someone that's a 5 is not going to be able to be a gold digger. And conversely, a 9 or a 10 is going to want someone of money, power, and status. So the two things go together.
Really?
Really?
Well, I got a pretty cute wife, and
You do.
And I had like 2 dimes to rub together when I met her, and we've been married 32, 33 years.
But I'm sure you had goals. But I'm sure you had goals and plans that you were working towards.
Oh,
and
sure.
Maybe
Together.
that's what she saw.
Together, actually. You think this is despicable?
I do. I think it's such small thinking. And we live in a day and age where women can do and become anything they want to be. And you would really set your sights this low, that you would want to attach yourself to a man with money without having your own, or just say to yourself, I don't need to manipulate anyone to get anything on my wish list. I can work and buy it for myself and get sheer satisfaction. I think that you're limiting yourself.
And I agree. And what you see is just one aspect of me. Like I wrote in my book, it's about goals, G-O-A-Ls. You write out your wish list or you write out your goals, whatever you want to accomplish in life, and you work towards that. Making money, making your own money should be your #1 priority. If a man wants to give you his money, if he wants to wine and dine you, take you to trips, wherever, shopping sprees, and take that also.
Well, I don't think you have to take that, though, because you think you're getting something for free, but you're paying a bigger price than you want to admit. Everyone in this audience can see the price that you're paying, Beige. You get so angry as you talk about every time a man approaches you, it's about sex. No, I'm not angry at all. I'm just trying to speak to you because, no, I'm passionate. I'm passionate about young women like yourself who are beautiful and capable, and you underestimate and you limit your living because you base it upon money and 10 pairs of sunglasses.
I'm passionate.
They're for sale all over the United States. You can buy them for yourself.
I have to disagree because, I mean, there was a point in my life when nobody taught me about men or whatever. And when I went away to college, I went to a college and I had all these type of men and all these men hitting on me and whatever. And I went on dates and I was naive about men. I got taken advantage of.
I taken advantage of, but that doesn't mean you turn
but after
the other
I met
cheek.
Beige and I met Beige and learned about her outlook
Ladies,
and
how
read her
many
book.
people out
Are you
here
gonna let
haven't
her
gotten
finish?
taken advantage of once by a man? You don't turn into a gold digger because of that.
But all you're doing is...
Wait a minute, hold on.
You're not taking it.
Hold on, there are some nice guys out there.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, there are some nice guys out there.
There are?
Yeah. I feel like estrogen is coming up. You feel like how do you test? You say you have to test them to see whether they're gold diggers or not.
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of put them through a little process. I guess everybody's different, but mine's is, for the most part, you know, the test of time. You know, I just kind of lean back and just, you know, I'm gonna see how she really is. You know, first initially you meet somebody, you know, that's like the fake, the mask. Okay, hey, you know what it is, but you know, you don't know. So I sit back. Who knows how long it's gonna be, but eventually, you know, you see signs of things come in. You know,
like you don't give any presents for like 2 or 3 months, like not even Christmas presents ring, right?
I mean, it depends on the relationship, but for the most part, no. And I have to know her, you know, and it has to be something real. It can't be some superficial, you know, oh, I just met her, all of a sudden I'm giving gifts to her and all of that because
exactly, and those type of men, they only do that to try to get in your pants. So the men who give me stuff up front is a men I'm very leery of.
So is it on layaway or something? They give you the gift up front, and then it's on layaway. You're not something at the store for them to purchase later. Who cares if they give it to you now or later? You can buy it yourself. You have a talent
I do buy it myself. I do buy it myself. All my money goes to invest in. It goes in my bank account. Their money buys me the stuff I like.
All right, we got to take a break, and I just want to say, I too get tired of getting hit on for sex, and just being. I feel so cheap sometimes. All right, next, he says gold-digging chicks make him bitter, and she says gold diggers give beautiful women a bad name. We'll hear from our studio audience as the debate continues. Is it true what they say? Do men only want women for sex and women only want men for money? Helping us debate this issue are Michelle and Beige, two self-proclaimed gold diggers, and Lucia, LA talk show host. Also joining us is Dwight Freeney, NFL star, who says that he has tricked women in order to see if they're being real with him or if they just want his money. And Lauren Lake, she's married to an Indianapolis Colts coach and says gold digging is demeaning and undignified. Now, before the show, we asked our audience what they had to say about gold diggers. Now, Cameron, you say they just make you bitter.
Yeah, you know what? It's sad because it seems like our society is getting to a point where if you don't have, no offense, man, if you don't have the $76 million contract, if you don't have the private jet, if you don't have all this, then you're just kind of taking up space. And like she said, you don't have time to get to know the normal guys. Well, if you're not taking that time, you'll never find that normal guy. There'll never be that guy you want to settle down with because you're always on the surface. You're not willing to dig deep.
So you don't think these girls would give you a chance?
From the things I heard, you know what? I don't think it would be a match made in heaven anyway.
But isn't Cameron, wouldn't you say he's a good-looking guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, he's got a nice smile. He's got a...
I'm already in a relationship, so I'm not looking for anybody. That's why I gold dig, because I already have a man. If somebody else approaches me and wants to give me money or gifts or whatever, I'll take it.
Okay, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa.
So I'm not looking. That's why
But you're in a relationship and you still work men for money?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I don't work them for money. They offer. I don't work anything. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
But men just walk up and say,
no.
Can I buy you an iPod?
No, that's not how it works. They walk up to me and they ask me, they start conversation. Eventually they want your number or something like that. You know where it's gonna lead. If a guy approaches you and starts talking to you and wants your number, what does he want your number for?
Lucia, what do you think about that?
Well, I'd like to address something Lauren said, the fact that she said that to be a gold digger is demeaning and undignified. Well, you know what? Some people would find going on welfare and using food stamps demeaning and undignified. They find living paycheck to paycheck and wondering if they're going to be able to pay the bills next month, or they're going to be homeless and have their home foreclosed on demeaning and undignified. So you may find that way, but gold diggers, they actually find it empowering.
Actually, I think you're fooling yourself if you don't think this is 2 sandwiches short of what I call the prostitution picnic. You're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself. 2 sandwiches short.
I totally disagree. A prostitute has sex with anyone who will pay her.
You start off cocktailing at lunch. Next thing you know, you're on the pole at lunch. Next thing you know, you're on the pole at night. Next thing you know, you're going home for money. This is a slippery slope. You guys, be honest with yourselves. This isn't right. You know that. You know it's not right, so don't justify it. Just say that you do it.
I'm not selling my body. I'm not lying to these men. I'm not promising them anything. If they come to me up front and ask me if they're going to sleep with me, if they're going to get this or that, I tell them no.
And they just say, well, I just want to buy you this $1,000 Gucci bag anyway.
A challenge. Men love a challenge.
Exactly, they're predators.
But you know what? I will give you this. There are some men who will throw a $1,000 Gucci bag at you for just to see if you're going to have sex with them. And sorry, Dwight, to make you the poster boy, but it's $2 to him.
Exactly.
And that's my point. Why sell yourself short? Your temple. Why are you bartering that for?
I'm not bartering it. That's the whole point.
That you know that they're coming at you for sex, so you get the bag. You're, like Dr. Phil said, bait and switch. You might get a little, but give me these sunglasses first. Okay, I got the glasses, now you're not getting any.
I'm not open for negotiations.
Isn't that what it is?
Well, it sounds like to me. All right, Jessica, what do you say about this?
I just think that you guys are horrible role models for young women because you guys have nothing to offer but a good piece of arm candy for a man.
You think so?
I think so because, I mean, fake breasts and Botox can only get you so far. It's what, like, women...
I have no plastic surgery.
Feel that way.
I'm sorry?
I said, sorry to hear you feel that way, but I have a lot more to offer than how I look.
Well, it doesn't seem that way because you just work these men, you fool these men into thinking that you are going to give them something.
I don't fool them. I don't lead them on.
Exactly.
All right, taking a break. Her best friend calls her a gold digger, but she disagrees and says that she just enjoys the perks that come with men who happen to have a lot of money. We'll be right back.
If you like a restaurant, why date a guy that can take you there when you could just go straight for the owner?
My next guest, Emily, sent me a video via webcam telling me that she has been wrongly accused of gold digging. And her best friend, Andrea, says she's fed up with Emily stringing guys along for their money.
I like the men that travel. I like the men that have a little money on top of it.
She's a gold digger, remember that, Dr. Phil. Watch out.
We went to a nightclub the other night, and Andrea was there with her husband, but his brother was there, who is also incredibly good looking. And so I was just curious what he did in his free time.
I get a text from Emily asking about his income. Right away, I was like, things aren't gonna work out, Emily, because you're asking about his money.
She texted me back one word, gold digger. And this is...
No, I said, you're a gold digger.
Okay, if you like a restaurant, why date a guy that can take you there when you could just go straight for the owner?
And she likes the older men, of course.
I love the Grays. Dr. Phil, if anything happens between you and Rob, your producers have my number.
Well, Andrea says there's one guy in particular that has Emily's number, and she's been stringing him along because he has money and buys her the craziest gifts. Here's what Emily has to say about that.
Nick used to leave me gifts on my car, and I finally one day told him not to give me another gift or another rose until it was made out of pure platinum. A couple weeks later, I came out to my car to find a rose made out of platinum laying on the hood. I told Nick that I didn't want anything for Christmas unless he could give me the world. He couldn't give me the world, but he did shock me by giving me documents from NASA registering me with a couple acres on the moon. At least the boy's creative.
Okay, so you don't think you're a gold digger?
I've never specifically gone out with somebody for their money. Flat out, hands down.
But you play this, how long have you been stringing this guy on?
Since we were like 15.
So 7 years?
It's not funny. I mean, it's not funny, but the thing is that I've told him a million times, Nick, I'm not interested in you for anything more than a friendship. Then he gets attached and buys me all these gifts and thinks that something else is gonna happen.
And you accept them?
I kept the rose and the moon. I mean, come on, that's kind of classic. But everything else I've turned down, and I've told him, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. You know that. And
you
then
think she's a gold digger?
Yes. I think when she sees a man with nice cars and nice things, that right away he might be accepted into her.
Do you think she's a gold digger?
I think she has a little traits, but probably not a full-fledged gold digger.
I think she just has high standards.
Would this worry you if you had this history on her? If you ran into her at the mall back in Indianapolis, would you go,
You know, it's too bad that, you know, this day and age, you know, everything's about money and how much you can make somebody, what you can give somebody. And I mean, that's paper thin, you know, that's pretty much, there's nothing behind that. It can be here today, gone tomorrow.
But it's not only the money, it's more about the mentality with the man who has the money. It says a lot about him. He's a hard worker. He shows dedication. He went to school for 4 years. He invested time. He made sacrifices. So that's what I'm attracted to. That's why I can never be with someone who doesn't have ambitions.
Exactly. But you're not attracted to him because you say you don't want a relationship. You just want the stuff.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a ball of contradictions here. What happens when beauty fades? Because let me tell you,
and it will.
Pretty soon.
I wrote about that in my book.
Pretty soon, face starts to get a few wrinkles, and
of course, it's a good person.
And things are where they didn't used to be.
True. You go to sagging, stuff go out of place. But I have a lot on the inside, but I'm not going to show that to just anybody. They're going to have to prove themselves to me when the time comes, when I'm ready for a relationship.
But if you got to get them before they get you attitude, it's you are actually a predator, is what you're saying. I'm going out there, I'm going to get them before they can get me. That makes you a predator.
Yeah, still, I don't approach them. It's still the ones who come to me. Then I take those measures.
Okay, so they wander into your yard, they're going to get had.
It's a self-defecatism.
Okay, all right. Next, Emily says she wants to marry a man who can support her extravagant lifestyle. So does that or does it not make her a gold digger? Or is it just reasonable to say, you know, if I'm going to fall in love with somebody, might as well have some money? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Some girls only date short guys or tall guys. I happen to like guys with money as a characteristic. I don't think that that's gold digging.
Well, we've been talking about men, women, love, and money. Now, that was 21-year-old Emily who says she likes guys with money, and she doesn't think that makes her a gold digger. Her best friend, Andrea, disagrees. She says Emily strings men along for money. One guy even bought her a piece of the moon. He's been on for like 7 years. What do you think about this? Is there something wrong with wanting somebody that's successful and affluent and have money?
I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a person that has goals and that's successful. Let's be honest, being successful, that's an attractive thing. But what I find is missing from this conversation is, where are these women successful? Where is their money? Where is what are you bringing to the table besides cute?
Full-time student right now,
But
and I
my
work
thing is-
full-time, so I'm working on it myself, and I'm not interested in it being that serious of a relationship right now, so I don't date guys.
But what concerns me is that there may be someone out there that's in the same position as you, who's a student, not making a lot of money, but could love you to death and really respect you the way you want it. Now, you would count him out because he didn't have any money yet?
Something interesting
He could
is
be a
that
potential Dr. Phil.
My only long-term serious boyfriend that I've had, we didn't live together or anything, but I paid for all of our dates. He had no money. I loved his writing. That's how we met.
Well, you're making a good point that I am relate to, because the year before Robin and I got married, if it hadn't been for 2-for-1 burger bucks, one of us would have starved.
Right.
I mean, we got those 2-for-1s, and
Right.
without those, one of us would have not had anything to eat.
Absolutely. You never know who you're missing out on. So what I'm saying to ladies, especially to you ladies, you're beautiful, you're well-spoken, you're smart. Use that energy towards something positive instead of just manipulating men for nothing. All of those things that you showed on that bed in your tape, they'll be out of style next year.
Yeah,
And then
I know
what do
that.
you
I
have
know
to do
that.
to get
And
next year's
and that's why
goods?
I encourage women to budget, to save, to start using that money, invest it in a
I
career,
encourage
in
you
your
to
education.
go out and buy those same things that you go out and basically pimp men for. I encourage you to go out and buy them for yourself and feel the satisfaction you'll feel to know I need not ask anyone, entertain anyone, or deal with anyone on any level, sexually or otherwise, to get the things in life I want, because I can get them for myself.
Right, and I can get them for myself too. But I'm not going to spend
I don't agree
at all.
You will be in the position you are now, which is very replaceable, because it's a dime a
if I
dozen.
had
A
millions
gold
of dollars,
digger's a
I'm
dime
not going to
dozen,
spend
sweetie.
$1,000 on a
Honey,
purse.
you hear
My
the
own
man.
money.
The millionaire is nodding. Dime a dozen.
Let me tell you, we conducted a poll on drphil.com to find out what men and women really want in a mate. Believe it or not, it's up to you. 91% of the women and 64% of the men said they want love. That's what's important. 64% of the men, 3% of the women, and 30% of the men said sex. That is 10 times higher for men than women. I agree. I agree with that. And only 6% of women and men said money was the key. So who's telling the truth? I'll let you decide. We'll be right back. Well, I can just imagine what the message boards are going to read tonight, so I just want to hear what you have to say. So log on, tell me what you think about what everybody here said today. We work on all kinds of shows here. If you have a dating dilemma, go to drphil.com, click on Be on the Show, tell us your story. I want to thank all of my guests today, Dwight Freeney, Lauren Lake, and Lucia. Really enjoyed this today, guys, so thank you so much. So long. The middle school and high school teens on the show today all have one thing in common. They're all good kids participating in very unbelievable trends. Their actions include this, the cell phone, this, the laptop, this, the video camera, and this, the fist. But they're not alone. Thousands of teens nationwide are engaging in the same kind of behaviors with the same kind of things. One of the trends goes on during school hours, while other trends can go on when you think they're in doing their homework. Now, parents, I'm about to reveal some shocking information you won't want to miss.
Today on Dr. Phil, crazy teen trends.
Sent 125,763 texts in the past 3 months. What are you talking about?
Just normal conversation.
Please don't give him your number. He doesn't need one more person to text.
Plus,
the punch-out game, when teens allow themselves to be punched for fun. You can't build up a resistance to brain damage. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
10 seconds to air.
I know things are tough out there, but we can do this. Here we go. I want you to get excited about your life.
4,
Get ready,
3.
Let's do it. Parents, listen up. These are the latest trends your son or daughter could be participating in.
It's a potentially deadly game that is gaining popularity.
My son is laying in a hospital bed over a game.
One punch at a Saturday night underage bend party, and 17-year-old Taylor Arnold is now in ICU with 2 brain hemorrhages, surviving off a respirator.
It's the way most teenagers communicate with each other these days, but have some text messages gone too far?
3 teenage girls and 3 male classmates at a local high school are now facing charges over something called sexting.
That's exchanging naked or semi-naked photos of themselves or others.
These pictures are still child pornography, and anyone who has them is breaking the law.
Depending on how you look at it, it is either a colossal waste of time or a way to stay in touch.
13-year-old Raina Hardesty loves texting so much, she sent more than 14,000 text messages in just 1 month.
I'm just addicted to texting. It's just the way that me and my friends always talk to each other.
Well, that last teen is Raina, and she made headline news when she racked up 14,528 texts in 1 month. Now, her father, Greg, wrote an article about her excessive texting. And this may seem extreme, but it's more common than you think. 67% of teenagers say they have a cell phone, and teens between ages 13 and 17 text more than any other demographic group, clocking up an average of 1,742 texts per month. Now, here's 13-year-old Raina's story.
When I first saw the bill, I was shocked. I thought it's not humanly possible to text that amount in 1 month.
And I seriously cracked up. My mom was just like, "It's not funny."
I didn't think it was funny at all. I was appalled.
I immediately texted my friends right after I saw the number. I was like, "Hey, guess what? I got 14,528 texts." And they're like, "Wow, Raina."
After I realized that this wasn't some mistake, I immediately texted her.
I definitely thought I was in trouble.
The first question was, "What, are you nuts?"
I was like, "No, I just like to talk." And my mom's like, "You gotta lay off." And I was like, "Okay, I will." But I kind of haven't.
I believe Raina's dad and I view this a little differently. Her dad can relate more to texting, which is part of his life as well.
I don't see it as a huge issue. She's communicating with her friends. Should somebody be punished for communicating? I don't think so. However, this is way out of line, this number of texts.
So how many texts did you have last month? 10,500. So I beat her.
Okay, so who are you texting?
Okay, the people that I text most, definitely Cece, my best friend. And
Is that her name, or do you just call her carbon copy? I mean, you really don't even know what CC means.
CECE, short for Cecilia.
All right.
And mostly like 5, like a core group of 5 friends about.
Yeah.
But just mostly her.
But you understand, I did the math on this. And
so did I.
Yeah, Dad, you did it as well. She sends 484 text messages a day. Yeah. Can I see your cell phone? Uh-oh. Is this it?
Yeah.
I tell you what, Bones, take this backstage, and I want to see if it rings during the show. Okay? The online bill for Raina's cell phone text was 440 pages long. Now, here's a list of some of the words Raina texted with her friends. Like WTH means...
What the heck?
What the heck? Or at least that's the TV version.
Yes.
Hilarious is what? Hilarious plus kill?
Yeah, so it's so funny or so hilarious that it kills you.
And then what is cheesy peanut butter? I would have never figured this one out. What is cheesy peanut butter?
Well, it's basically an inside joke between me and Cece.
Oh, okay.
It's like when there's two things that are completely opposites that are put together, like an outfit, like, oh, well, her outfit today is totally cheesy peanut butter, or something like that.
Okay, but we're not supposed to know that. That's just shorthand between you and
Yeah.
Cece. Okay, and PLC, peace, love, and cookies, what is that?
It's kind of my thing. Like, I made it up a while ago, just like totally random, and then now all my friends are saying it. It's pretty funny.
I mean, I kind of agree with you, Greg. I don't think it's a big deal. The only downside to it is that it does take the place of human interaction. It does take the place of conversation and relationship building and the human element because it's all electronic and it's quick. And I wonder if we're going to have a generation that doesn't develop the social skills that they would have if they had to make eye contact and talk to somebody. The queen of texting is about to meet the king, a 17-year-old boy who sent 125,763 texts in the past 3 months. Now, one of those months was almost 50,000.
Hey, Dr. Phil. I was just wondering if excessive texting is the teenage equivalent to alcoholism. My son is obsessed with texting and he won't put his cell phone down. I was also wondering if this is an obsessive-compulsive behavior that I need to be concerned about.
Now, we just heard from Dawn, who says her 17-year-old son, Preston, clocked a total of 125,763 cell phone texts in the past 3 months alone. What are you talking about?
Either it's like, how are you, what are you doing? Or it's, do you want to hang out? Can we do something? Are you free this weekend? That kind of stuff.
What is this? What do we have here?
I'm just thankful that that's not what gets mailed to us.
So this is a record of your text, outgoing and incoming on your phone. A lot of trees gave their lives for this. And you're saying, can we hang out this weekend? And we've got, listen, he did 48,000 in a month. This is 1,834. And he did 48,000 of these in 1 month, right?
Yeah.
Does that seem crazy to you?
With the amount of people that I'm texting and the hours that I'm texting, not really.
Really? Do you ever talk to anybody?
Yeah.
Like, no, I mean talk.
Yeah. Conversations, yeah.
Like, because you seem to be putting sentences together fairly well while you're here.
Yeah.
Do y'all know each other? You're too old for her. Don't be talking. You're too old for her.
And please don't give him your number. He doesn't need one more
he
person
doesn't
to text.
need another number. So what do you try to stop this? Do you think it's excessive?
As a rule, you can't text during dinner. You can't text during church. You can't text during school. And after 10:30 p.m. on school nights.
Okay, do you stick with those rules?
For the most part,
Tell the truth, this is a polygraph chair you're sitting in.
Right.
And if you lie, you could get electrocuted.
All right. Yeah, well, for the most part, most nights I stay up and text later than 10:30 though.
Yeah, because we've got text here at 5:30 a.m. You're texting somebody at 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
What are you doing up at 5:30 besides texting?
Usually hanging out with people.
Oh, you're still up?
Yeah.
When you didn't like wake up and start texting, you're still up?
Yep.
Did you know he was up at 5:30 in the morning out texting around?
I had no idea.
All right, I got it. Listen, but seriously, parents, we got so many layers about this. We want to tell you, I don't really think this is a big deal. It's a habit. And it is a habit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you feel like you got to reach out all the time.
Yeah.
But you don't let it take the place of regular relationships, right?
No.
Okay, because you don't want to do that, really. But you text your mom upstairs when you need something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this I said there was no real problem with. We talked about it because so many of you said, gosh, my kids just seem to be living with their head down and their thumbs moving. What do you think about this? Really, it's the biggest problem you have. You don't have a problem. But there is a dark side of texting, and it's called sexting. We're going to hear about that story next.
Our 12-year-old daughter is out of control sexting. The school called us and said that an inappropriate picture had been passed around.
I was surprised how provocative the picture was. I was shocked to see that it had gone that far.
And later, what many of these kids don't realize, that it is a felony for children under age 18 to not only receive one of these pictures on their phone, but to take a photo and send it. It could lead to pornography charges. So this is serious. So I'm going to go in and talk with this young lady. We're talking about what I do believe is a serious teen trend. Now, we just talked about texting, and even to an excessive level, and I said, yeah, you know, really no big deal. Better if they weren't obsessed with that thing, but it's just really not a big deal in my view. But there is a dark side of texting, and it's called sexting. Now look at these. I want to blank you. Send me a picture of you naked. Are you sure you want to kiss? It's called wanna go blank. Now, what would you do if these were messages sent or received on a cell phone by your son or daughter? Now, ever since Mike and Gwen's daughter received a cell phone, she has been swept up in this dark world.
The first time I caught our daughter sexting, she had taken a picture of herself in a bikini and sent it to a boyfriend.
Some of the inappropriate texts that we found were, do you really want to kiss? Do you want to...
You're just a whore, you're a slut.
We discussed this with her, and she acted as if this is just the way people talk now.
This is one of the texts that we find.
For some reason, I know that I'm not supposed to do stuff, but I don't really seem to care.
The next time we caught her sexting was when the school called us and said that an inappropriate picture had been passed around.
I was surprised how provocative the picture was.
She was wearing just a bra and panties with her jeans around her ankles and with her legs spread apart.
The pictures and the texts that I send, I don't really know why I do it. I guess I just do it to get attention.
We found a video on her phone where she was dressed up like a prostitute.
In her bedroom with short shorts and cleavage showing. It's a constant battle.
It was very disturbing. I was shocked to see that it had gone that far.
We're not going to show your daughter's face during this segment or at any time that I may go talk to her, and we're not going to use her name because I don't want to do anything to draw more attention to her as an individual, but I do want to talk about what I think is a dangerous thing for her to be doing and a dangerous thing that a lot of teens are doing. So we're going to respect her privacy here fully and completely.
Thank you.
Dad, what do you think about this? What do you think's going on here?
It's very disturbing. I got a 12-year-old. You know, the things that she's doing is just unacceptable. I mean, even for an 18-year-old to be doing these things is... The way that she speaks, the way that she dresses, the things that she says on the texting, it's got me lost. I don't know how to, and I talk to her about it, I don't know how to control it. I take the phone away, she earns it back, I find it again over and over. I'm at a loss. We've tried so many different things to help, to stop it, and I can't find the remedy.
Gwen, what do you think's going on?
I think now she's got the cell phone, it makes her feel good about herself that boys are all of a sudden giving her attention. And so when they ask her to do these things, send pictures of them or text that way, if it's giving her attention and making her feel good about herself, then that's what she's doing.
Do you think it is sexually motivated, or do you think it's attention getting and that doesn't have anything to do with sex?
I think it's attention getting. I think that she has had low self-esteem from the time she was little.
And what reaction has she had from kids over doing this?
they call her bad names. They call her a slut. They call her a whore. It does not give her what she wants.
Because she'll send the message or the picture or the video, and it then gets spread around beyond the person that she sends it to, right?
Yes.
And we've even talked about this with adults who will put things on their MySpace or their Facebook page, and they don't realize that once you put that out there, you lose control of it. It's out there forever, and people can look at it when you apply for college, when you go to a job interview, all different sort of things. And of course, a 12-year-old that has the power and the ability to do this doesn't predict the consequences of those actions, right?
Right.
She doesn't get that. What does she say to you when you confront her about this? You've had the pictures, you've said, what is this? I mean, where it's undeniable that it's there. What does she say about it?
She just, a lot of times she just says, oh, that's nothing. It's not what you mean. Or it doesn't mean what it looks like, or it's no big deal.
All the kids
That's
are doing
all the
it.
kids are doing it.
She doesn't seem to think it's a big deal. I mean, she really doesn't.
So she has no insight. She doesn't say, yeah, wow, now in the bright light of day, that doesn't look good.
Correct.
Right.
The picture that was sent around the entire school, she does say, you know, she won't even own up to the fact that she intentionally took the picture. A girl in the locker room took the picture of her. She was obviously posing for the picture, but she says she wasn't. She said she had no intention for it to get sent anywhere, but it's very obvious to me and to my husband when we looked at the picture and to the school that she did mean to send it. She lies all the time, and it's very difficult to understand.
I want you to know I've looked at everything that you've provided us about her, including her evaluations and that sort of thing, and I don't think this has anything to do with sex. I think it is low self-esteem driven, and this is power. You understand? This is power for her. This does get attention. She sends that out. She might have been invisible till she sent that out. Then all of a sudden, she's not invisible anymore. People are talking about her. They know who she is. She's the buzz. She's a lot of things. She doesn't understand that comes with really bad side effects. But I think there are things that can be done to take away her need to do this and for her to understand what's going on. Well, I'm going to go backstage and meet with Gwen and Mike's 12-year-old daughter and ask her some questions that maybe will help me form an idea about what needs to happen next. Are you afraid that somebody might look at those pictures and think that you're a bad girl?
People said that about me in 2nd grade.
And later, I wouldn't trust her from here to the edge of this stage with a boy or a cell phone until this gets done. Because if you give her that cell phone, she's going to use it. We're talking about a disturbing trend that some teens are caught up in called sexting, where they send explicit messages, provocative photos and video via cell phone. What many of these kids don't realize that it is a felony for children under age 18 to not only receive one of these pictures on their phone, but to take a photo and send it. It could lead to all kinds of pornography charges. So this is serious. So I'm going to go in and talk with this young lady. So how you doing?
Good.
Do you know why y'all came here today?
The pictures and the texts that I've been sending and receiving.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that the pictures that I sent, they're not right, but some of them were okay because they were my face. But the other pictures that I sent, that they were like unacceptable and wasn't right.
You say, and of course some of them are just your face and saying hi or you walking down the street or whatever, but you know the ones we're talking about, the ones where you're not fully dressed, the ones where you're in kind of a sexy pose or whatever. And you say you know those are unacceptable. Why are they unacceptable?
Because it shows too much of me and it looks a little not appropriate.
Tell me what that means, not appropriate. Why is it not okay to send those?
Because it's illegal and it's too much and you shouldn't be sending stuff like that when you're younger.
Yeah. Why did you do it if you knew it wasn't okay?
Because my friend wanted me to.
Your friend wanted you to?
Yes.
But you could have said, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do that. People might see them and think bad things about me. Why did you do it even though you knew that it probably wasn't a good idea? Do you have the ability to tell your friend no?
I think that my friend, a lot of my friends have a big mouth and they like to use it a lot, like me, except for, they would probably say something about me and I'd probably lose that friend.
If you didn't do what they wanted you to?
Yes.
Okay. Are you afraid that somebody might look at those pictures and think that you're a bad girl?
Well, people said that about me in 2nd grade.
What do you think about your mom and dad saying that they don't want you to do this kind of thing?
They kind of get mad at me.
Yeah.
And, well, they don't want me to do it. Why don't they just talk to me about it more?
Are they right?
Yes.
So you agree with them?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be doing this. Because, once that picture's out there, you have no control over it. Somebody could come by and pick that phone up, forward it to somebody else. If you weren't involved in it, then it wouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
Because they can't take the picture without you.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. So this is going to get worse, not better, if something isn't done about it.
And that's what we've seen from the time she was little. Things just progressively get worse and worse and worse, and here we are now, and that's why we're scared to death.
And later,
I've been punched by my sister, my grandmother.
Okay. Well, I was just backstage with Mike and Gwen's 12-year-old daughter because she has been sending provocative pictures of herself from her cell phone. Others have sent them. There have been a lot of provocative statements back and forth. She says she did it because the boy asked her to. What do you think about our conversation?
It was typical. When she said, I didn't take the picture, I expected her to say that. That's the way she always reacts to it. I think she was fairly honest.
Yeah, I got the feeling that she decided to just be pretty straight up.
She was.
About what she was thinking and what she was feeling. I just want to give you some impressions here. First off, in so many ways, you have absolutely hit the daughter lottery. What a beautiful little girl. I'm sorry y'all can't see her, but this is a precious young woman. She really is.
Thank you.
She has a warmth about her and a vulnerability about her that is so good. There's so much right here that we're going to talk about what's not right, but believe me, there's so much more right here than there is wrong. On the problem side of the issue, her self-esteem is really, really damaged. Her ego strength is so low that she doesn't consider that she can say no, and if that's what I have to do for you to like me, then pass. So this is going to get worse, not better, if something isn't done about it.
That's what we've seen from the time she was little. Things just progressively get worse and worse and worse, and here we are now, and that's why we're scared to death, because we think the next step is to be sexually active.
That's right, and we're getting this at a time where you can intervene before this takes place. I truly believe that she has some neurological involvement here. I think the parts of her brain that control the inhibition centers are probably not as active as they need to be, which is something that can be dealt with. And I strongly believe this. I think this is not about sex. I think it is about attention. I think there are neurological involvements here as well as psychological involvements. And I think she needs immediate and extensive evaluation on many different levels. Because as she gets into the hormones flowing with puberty and all the things that will happen between now and the time she's 14 or 15, you need to get this under control yesterday before noon. Okay? And I would like to offer to you that we will send her to a place which I believe is one of the premier evaluation and intervention places for all types of dysfunctional behavior, particularly those that involve brain functioning. I think we need to map her brain, which is not an invasive procedure at all, no dye injected, nothing. And then I think we need to look at her hormonally, biochemically, and then talk about what needs to happen with her therapeutically. This is one of those things that you can turn around. This is one of those things you can fix, but you've got to jump on this with both feet. And I wouldn't trust her from here to the edge of this stage with a boy or a cell phone until this gets done. Because if you give her that cell phone, she's going to use it. And she's going to make bad judgments. We know that. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. She is a danger with that tool. You need to take that away from her or sit there while she uses it. Because if you don't, she's going to do this again. I'm just telling you, just sure as the sun comes up in the morning.
Right, well, and that's what she's done every time we give it back to her. It's the same thing again.
Mom, don't be a slow learner, okay? So, I mean, do y'all hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, will you accept the help? We'll set these resources up for you. We'll make those arrangements today.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll get right on this, all right? Coming up, we're going to talk to a 16-year-old boy who admits to allowing other people to punch him in the face for fun. It's the latest teen trend that you can find on YouTube.
Like with his grandmother doing it. That was funny. Grandma barely tapped him.
All right, Grandma.
Am I missing something here? Am I getting punked? We're talking about crazy teen behaviors today. Now, the newest and possibly the most baffling and dangerous is called the punch-out game, when teens allow themselves to be punched and hit in the face and head for fun. They then post the video on YouTube. Now, 16-year-old JR says he's not just being punched for fun, he's being punched upside his head 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes once or twice a day for the past month, as training towards his ultimate career goal.
The punch-out thing is more funny to me than harmful.
Oh!
I've been punched by Sister Jessie, my sister Melissa, my grandmother.
All right, Grandma.
My friend Devin, my friend Dante, and my friend Josh. There is a right way and a wrong way to do it. I am taking the punches in the cheeks, in the forehead, and really anywhere, just not in the temple or in the back of the head. I've been stunned, but I've never been knocked out. I'm not worried about suffering brain damage from getting hit. I'm hoping it doesn't happen.
JR's mother, Tammy, claims she's concerned about her son's safety, but also admits that she finds the YouTube videos funny.
I thought it was hilarious. It was funny. My reaction was like, wow. The head punches are just part of the training. If this is what he wants to do, I will support him. I think the people that are making a fuss over it, they're making it more than what it actually is. I do understand the concern, but it's not like what some of these other kids are doing.
Well, Howard says punching is only dangerous if JR's family and friends don't follow the rules. The problem is he doesn't really know what the rules are.
People that JR had punched him either had the training or he told them, don't hit me here because this is a bad place. JR follows the rules. I don't know the rules. I wasn't part of his training. I don't mind him taking the head punches. As part of an ultimate fighter, you get punched all the time in the head. So JR getting punched in the head helps him build resistance.
Well, we're talking about, I mean, Howard's the dad, Tammy's the mom. They say it's okay. Now, you may wonder who tapes JR when he plays the punch-out game. Well, 3 of the times it was his mother, Tammy.
Go, Daddy. Oh! All right, Grandma.
Hey, help me out here.
I think it's funny. When he first started doing this, it was funny. The couple times that I first started videotaping him, I didn't actually realize how hard he was getting hit. I know a lot of this is, you know, his passion is to go out for USC. He wants to build that resistance. He wants to be able to take these hits. And like with his grandmother doing it, that was funny. Grandma barely tapped him.
All right, Grandma.
Am I missing something here? Am I getting punked? I mean, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
You're serious about it. Let me tell you, I've been in sports all my life. I played football in grade school, junior high, high school, college. Both of our boys have training in martial arts. Our oldest has 2 black belts. I've been around this all of my life. You can't build up a resistance to brain damage. You don't get tougher because somebody's hitting you in the head.
I understand that.
Apparently you don't. No, seriously, you said, I understand that he's wanting to build up his resistance. Do you believe that you can do that?
I believe that it can help me from feeling it as much as from the beginning.
Well, I suppose that's true. I mean, you could get so much brain damage, your ability to process pain would be diminished in some... No, seriously. JR says there are specific rules that he follows to ensure his safety while he trains. No hits to the back of the head, no hits to the groin, no hits to the spine, no dropping on head, no punching in the temple, no direct punches to the back of the head. Hits to the jaw must have a mouth guard. Now, in 2 of the tapes we saw, you weren't wearing a mouth guard, right?
Right.
Okay, so you forgot your rule. So it comes with repeated blows to the head, your memory starts to go. Dr. Travis Stork is here. He's the host of the new hit show, The Doctors. And he's got a few questions and a few comments about all this as well. We'll be right back. Well, we're back, and we're talking about the punch-out game, where kids ask to be punched in the head for fun or competition. Now, Talon is here, and I have asked the audience to not clap, not make any noise. You didn't hear any music when we came back from the break, because Talon has experienced some brain damage that has made him hypersensitive to noise, so everybody's had to be pretty quiet. So, Talon, tell us, how did this happen?
I went to a party in Bend, Oregon, and this kid had asked me if I wanted to play hit for hit, and I said, yeah, but what are we going to play for? And he's like, a pair of shoes. He hit me first, and I went back and hit my head on the concrete, and my brain went forward and hit the front of my skull, and my head started gushing blood. I have a bald spot on the back of my head. And I went to the emergency room, and I was in a coma for 10 days, a drug-induced coma for 10 days, and then in the hospital for 22 days total.
Okay, now you'd been actually playing this game for 4 years before this night.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd been at this a lot. Now, what have they done to your head? Because I noticed the contour of your scalp here indicates that there's been a removal of bone, correct?
Yeah.
Tell me what they've done.
They took out from my right sideburn to my left sideburn, they took out the skull that's all the way forward.
Okay. So this area in here is unprotected.
Yeah, it's just skinnier than my brain.
Okay, because there's blood seepage and stuff on the top now. So
Yeah.
you're very vulnerable at this point.
Yeah,
in that regard.
I can't do anything.
Dr. Travis Stork is with us. He's an emergency room physician. He's co-host of the new hit TV series, The Doctors. Dr. Stork sees head injuries, closed head injuries, open head injuries in the emergency room, usually from some type of trauma associated with a car wreck, falls, things of that nature. How dangerous is this?
You still have a developing brain, and each and every time you get hit in the head, you are potentially suffering a concussion. And when you get hit in the head 3 days later, you're increasing your chance for long-term memory loss, your ability to think, your ability to go to college. Do you know that amateur boxers, after they get stung, they have to sit out for 30 days? You're getting hit in the head up to 60 times in a month if you're doing this twice a day. And over time, that is going to cause long-term damage. And you may not have the outcome that Talon had, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to potentially suffer in college and 10, 20 years down the road. And that's my biggest issue with kids doing this, because their brains are still developing, and they don't realize that this causes long-term effects that will affect them the rest of their lives.
Kim, you're Talon's mom. What do you think about all of this?
I just think it's absolutely crazy. I can't even imagine that, one, our kids would put themselves in that position. Two, that we have parents that allow it. My son took one blow to the face. It broke his nose. That's where it all started. Talon then fell backwards because he passed out. And he was awake. When the paramedics got there at the house, he was awake. He was talking, he was normal. He couldn't remember his birthday, but he was awake. Had they not done the CAT scan when we got to the hospital, or after the ambulance took him to the hospital, had they not done that CAT scan, my son wouldn't be alive.
Travis, that's what you're saying. He doesn't show up sometimes. You have a period where they're lucid, right?
Yeah, you don't know for sure.
Until the swelling takes over.
And if the swelling isn't seen on a CAT scan, that swelling can occur while you're at home in bed, sound asleep, and then you're dead.
And let me say to you guys, and as I say, Robin and I have some personal involvement in this, particularly with our older son, who's very advanced in martial arts. He spent years of training. And in that early training, they were never allowed to have any kind of contact without an approved headgear on, without supervision, on a mat where they can't fall and hit their head on concrete or a table or a car. All of these things going on. It is highly controlled. They're highly trained. And the idea is to protect those head blows, not try to accommodate to them. This is dangerous. And you know, as Travis said, your brain's still developing, so your ability to see the consequences of your actions is one of the last parts of your brain that will develop, and it's still growing until you're 25 years old in many cases. So if he can't see this because his brain isn't fully developed yet, y'all can. We don't want him doing it. It's dangerous. If you want to learn to do this, get into a controlled program with professionals with proper equipment and headgear and mats and protection, and then you can approach it as a sport. But this is, and you're not the only one doing this. I don't mean to pick on you. It's all over the internet. That's why we're talking about it.
You know, my son wanted to be a fighter. He wanted to do UFC and the groups that we have. He'll never be able to do it.
And my comment to any child out there who wants to do UFC, it's very popular. If that's something that someone wants to do, you should take all the precautions now to avoid any possible head injury while your brain's developing, because if you're starting to sustain head injuries when you're 16 years of age, think about all the additional years of damage that you've caused yourself.
Yeah, you'll never make it. I mean, your brain will be used up. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Parents, if this is going on, stop it. Stop those kids from doing it. We'll be right back. We've been talking about teen trends today, and as we just finished talking about one that is very dangerous, some are just habits. We asked Raina to give her phone up during the show, and we've actually been tracking it. You've had 8 texts since you've been here, and her friend Cece is the one that's been texting Raina throughout the show. In fact, last month, she sent 10,671 texts to her best friend. Now, she's on Uvu, a video chat service with her mother, Patrice. So, Cece, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so you've been texting 8 times while she was here. What were you saying to her?
Hi.
Patrice, do you think these girls text too much?
Well, I didn't know they did until this was brought to my attention and I saw the bill. now their grades are good and they socialize well, so I'm still on the fence about it.
Yeah, well, and actually, y'all were probably watching, and we talked about it, and I said, you know, I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, it's kids talking back and forth. Is this you, Cece, texting me right now? Okay, this is too hot for me to handle. You girls have fun. Just keep your grades up and keep those clean. You know, don't be saying anything you don't need to be saying. I want to thank Dr. Travis Stork from the Doctors for being here. Thanks for weighing in on this, Travis. And thanks so much for what y'all are doing on the doctors. You're delivering important information that people need at a time when they need it. So I hope you feel good about that.
We do.
To hear the teens on today's show reveal whether or not they plan on changing their lives, log on to drphil.com to access their backstage interviews. We have a great time here in the studio audience. If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area, we'd love to have you come to the show. The tickets are free. We have a good time once we're here. Just go to drphil.com, click on Be in the Audience, or call 323-461-7445, and we'll hook you up. You can have a good time. Thanks for being here. So long.